the weekend and mainly in the afternoon and evening hours, but they will be few and far between. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
1819 News.
There were a handful of hecklers, but overall, Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall was met with supportive applause for his continued legal fight to protect children here in the state from the transgender ideology and surgeries that are being pushed by the Biden administration. Marshall spoke at the Title IX town hall that was held in Lake Guntersville on Monday night.
Hopefully you follow the work that we've done in Alabama to defend the fact that we've said you're not going to perform surgery on our kids. And you're not going to use puberty blockers or cross-sex hormones for children that say that they want to be able to change their gender.
Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth attended this meeting along with the Alabama Republican Party Chairman John Wall. It was hosted by Moms for Liberty and Local Alabama. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Some of the greatest blessings is just having people that care about you. To have someone that's just going to love you and make you feel important. They encourage you to be in church. They encourage you to be in prayer. They encourage you to be in your Bible. Now it's a part of my day every day. My house parents planted seeds in me that you can see where those seeds have sprouted in my life and helped change my life.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
A cold case in Lee County is headed to trial after 20 years. 76-year-old Bobby Pitts of Auburn is now charged with the 2003 sexual assault of a young girl off of Lee County Road 57. The charges against Pitts comes after DNA evidence was used to identify him as the suspect. The trial against Pitts is set to begin September 9th. The body of a missing man was found in Etowah County this past weekend. Roger Wisman of St. Clair County was found in Canoe Creek. Wisman was last seen on August 9th. The Alabama Department of Forensic Science will conduct an autopsy. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Hey guys, this is Todd Clark with River Region Contracting, your premier roofing contractor in Central Alabama. So remember the name, River Region Contracting, for all your roofing needs. We're not affiliated with any other roofing company in the River Region. We've been in the roofing business since 2005. We don't have to buy our leads, and we don't have to knock on doors when the storms come around. We have thousands of satisfied customers throughout Central Alabama. So call us at 334-356-8635. That's 334-356-8635.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. I want to begin with a quote from a famous person. Guess who it is? In 1946, the United Nations General Assembly passed a resolution reading in part, freedom of information is a fundamental human right and the touchstone of all the freedoms to which the United Nations is consecrated. This is our touchstone as well. This is the code of the voice of America. We welcome the views of others. We seek a free flow of information across national boundaries and oceans, across iron curtains and stone walls. We are not afraid to entrust the American people with unpleasant facts, foreign ideas, alien philosophies, and competitive values. For a nation that is afraid to let its people judge the truth and falsehood in an open market is a nation that is afraid of its people. That was, of course, JFK, and for his trouble, well, you know what happened to him. But I think he was spot on. And joining us now, is a tradition here on this show. We have the one, the only Judge, Andrew Napolitano. Judge, how you doing today?
I'm fine, Joey. What a beautiful, beautiful quotation. I had not heard that before. Beautiful, beautiful one-liner from him. I often wonder what he would be like if he were around today. Would he be a conservative Republican? Would he be a libertarian? Would he be an anti-war activist?
Right. Yeah, and I was thinking about it because it's so many different fronts. Of course, what's going on in the UK right now with free speech is it's obscene. The way they're now locking people up, arresting people for posts on social media, or if you retweet footage of riots. But it's not just that. Elon Musk threatened in an overt way by the European Union and the European Commissioner, and which especially because he was going to talk to Trump last night. And then you have the Washington Post. They have a reporter in the White House press pool yesterday asking Karine Jean-Pierre, or Mean Karine Jean, whatever her name is, how can y'all stop Musk and Trump talking? What role is there for a president? It's like, is free speech being murdered before our eyes?
Yes, it is. Now, the European Union thing is different. Obviously, that's not America. It's a combination of European countries, none of which has a First Amendment, although Great Britain has a rich tradition of the freedom of speech. It doesn't abide it anymore today. But even in the United States, look at the raid on Scott Ritter's home. 40 FBI agents, guns, SWAT team, and a bomb squad looking for an iPhone and 2 desktops.
Yeah.
So this is obviously wouldn't work with him because he's a big, tough guy, but it's obviously an effort to intimidate and to chill the freedom of speech. So our liberties are being evaporated right before our eyes. My column, which you'll get shortly, which comes out tomorrow night, details what happened to him when he arrived. In addition to this bomb squad and SWAT team, they showed him his emails and text messages printed out from the past 2 years, which they got without a warrant. Well, how did they get it? They either hacked into his computer, which is a crime for which they prosecute people, or they use the CIA and the NSA to do it, which is the equivalent crime. So the people that we have hired to protect our Constitution are destroying it.
Yeah, and it seems like, you could tell a joke or they'll let anybody, like, say somebody like me, I'm sitting in a humble perch. If my profile ever raised, or I've noticed that, like, you could be the average Joe or even have a small show and say whatever you want. As soon as you start to actually challenge power with your speech, they come after you full bore. And it's one thing for the UK to do this. The trend there has been, obvious, slow and obvious. But I watched that interview, the follow-up you did with Ritter, and the fact that not only did they take things that the warrant they had called for, they took gifts that were given to them. It took things that were not in the warrant, and they didn't put it on the receipt. It just seems like obvious intimidation tactics at this point.
It's theft. It's a crime. I told him he should go file a criminal complaint against these people with the local authorities. I don't know where it would go, but it would at least bring attention to that. Last week, the Secret Service needed to use a bathroom. They broke into a beauty salon. They put tape over the security cameras in the beauty salon. They kicked people out and they used the bathroom. It wasn't just one person. It was a lot of them had to use the bathroom.
Because they're on a schedule.
Yeah. My colleague at Newsmax said what she had done. She should have called the local police. Said there are guys with guns in my salon taking it over and they're kicking me out. That would have sent about 15 police cars there to arrest the Secret Service. But people are afraid of the federal government. When the people fear the government, there is tyranny. When the government fears the people, there is liberty. Thomas Jefferson.
So back to Europe, this slide for Europe, because I can think of, there's a lot of touch points in this long and slow, sad trend. But I'm almost thinking of, say, like Salman Rushdie, and then the fatwa was put on his head. And, of course, not that long ago, he was physically violently attacked. Thank God he survived. For something he wrote, I believe it's a character having a dream in a work of fiction.
Right.
So how should governments, whether they're in the West and Europe or especially in the United States, when other governments, whether it's an Islamic theocracy or a European Commission, say you cannot speak freely because you have some nexus within our jurisdiction, what should the American government do if we actually believed in free speech?
The American government should threaten that government, not with violence, but with some sort of retaliatory behavior, because the same government that is supposed to protect Elon Musk and Donald Trump's and yours and mine freedom of speech here should be in the business of protecting it when it is broadcast there. It's not like they were sitting in Europe. That's a different story.
Right.
On the other hand, what does Trump care? There's no voters over there, and if there are voters there, it's not even worth the effort. It's a bunch of expats who aren't truly expats, because if they'd have to be American citizens to still vote. So I think it's a tempest and a teapot. The interview itself was not a happy one from anybody's perspective if you tried to watch it last night.
Yeah, I was waiting. I did end up listening to the whole thing, and somebody's like, hey, Donald Trump, you're a billionaire. Please stop using a $20 Bluetooth microphone, lapel mic. He sounded like he had a lisp a little bit. It sounded like Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is a weird time to where you can have two of the biggest profiles in the world sit down, and it's just like you're tuning into a private conversation, obviously not private. And I find the reaction from power centers all over the world just reveals their antipathy towards freedom, especially towards folks that actually challenge their authority.
Well, the government has speech that it hates and fears it. And it fears speech that challenges its authority, and it hates to have its authority challenged. Your comment earlier about the more successful you get, the more high profile you are, the bigger the target on your back. That's true. It's the successful speech that the government fears. It doesn't fear idle chatter. And this happens no matter who is in the White House, because the deep state operates on its own. It's the deep state that tormented Trump for the 4 years that he was in office. It's the deep state that doesn't want him to return. Look, there are many reasons for him not to return. But because the deep state is afraid of him is a good reason for him to return.
Yeah,
because he
for me,
will
that's it.
reform them radically and strip them of a lot of their power. At least I hope he will. He didn't last time. He even signed legislation that continued their financing and their authority, their funding, and their authority to keep doing what they're doing. But I'm not so sure he would do that again.
Yeah, and I hope he also releases those JFK files that I know you and many others urged him to release.
He said again he would release them, but he said that before.
Right. He's making a lot of promises. So is, of course, Harris. This is how, sadly, our electoral politics works at this point. But it does beg the question, like, who is running things right now? Because the world is a mess, like an absolute mess on many fronts. We're flirting with beyond, we got bogged down in Iraq or Afghanistan, and it's now flirting with much bigger problems. And yet you don't, maybe we shouldn't have a president and just let the system be honestly what it is. But when there isn't at least a figurehead that people can look to trust and lead, or look to blame, like if you're Russia or China, who you talking to? I just worry this vacuum of leadership creates a big problem here.
Well, look, the Ukrainians just invaded a portion of Russia.
Yeah.
The news that you probably haven't seen is that this was a NATO operation. And Russian surveillance says there were English speakers and American accents, what they call an accent, amongst the troops. If Americans come home in body bags, who authorized it? A president that can't put two sentences together? Did he authorize American troops to invade Russia? That's World War III stuff. Imagine if the Russians invaded El Paso or Hawaii or Alaska. That's World War III stuff.
Yeah, it's unconscionable that we're seeing this almost speed up as it seems like nobody's there at the wheel. Of course, there is somebody at the wheel, and the problem is having secret power, like literally having secret government and authority there is no accountability whatsoever. And I don't know how we get that accountability back, because as imperfect as Trump is, like, he seems to be, even his threat, that's probably not as much of a threat as maybe you or I would like in taking on the federal government and the deep state. Even that, what did Schumer say? They have 6 ways from Sunday to come after you there, the CIA.
Yes. On that, I agree with Senator Schumer. He's familiar with these people. He runs them. He votes for all of their authority. Look, the last time the deep state came up for scrutiny, the vote on whether they could spy without a search warrant, you remember this story. On the floor of the House was a tie, 212 to 212. The Speaker of the House left the Speaker chair to come down into the well and vote to break the tie. He voted against the way he had consistently voted when he was just a member of the House. But now that he's in leadership, he's going along with the boys to let them spy on us all they want. This was preceded by a 2-hour secret meeting in his office with leaders of the intelligence community. What the hell did they show him? Pictures of himself having sex with a duck? Not suggesting that that has happened, but dirt on him, or some sort of scare tactic to scare him so much that he could thumb his nose at the Constitution he took an oath to uphold. When Netanyahu spoke to the Congress and he had 58 standing ovations, the longest standing ovation was for when he condemned the demonstrators outside the Capitol building. How can the same people that took an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution applaud the condemnation of the exercise of the freedom of speech, the quintessentially American right?
Well, and great point, though. I'm still stuck on sex with a duck. I'm not even sure how the mechanics of that would work, but I get your point that what sort of compromising material do they have on folks? And I don't know. Have you ever messed much with these new AI chat bots, in particular, say like Chat GPT?
No, I haven't. But I was at a friend of mine. I was a guest at a beach house with some friends over the weekend, and they were talking about judging freedom. And two of them, husband and wife, listen to it. They don't watch it. So one of them said to me, and I've already said this in public and to the person affected, "Gee, I didn't know that Larry Johnson was black." I said, "Well, Larry Johnson's not black. What are you talking about?" And he shows me an ad for Judging Freedom on one of the audio only segments. And the ad was compiled by AI. And They put Larry Johnson, the basketball player, there, not Larry Johnson, the ex-CIA guy.
Well, and I've seen like
you also had a version of me where I was 100 pounds heavier than I truly am.
Well, and I've seen it mess up that way, like when I've used AI tools where the parameters aren't just quite right, the algorithms aren't quite right. But I did a thing over the weekend, and you now have a function with ChatGPT where you can talk to it like it's a human. It's a lot more impressive than Siri or Alexa or any of these others. It really is impressive tech. Great for a research assistant. But I asked it a basic question. When was Donald Trump shot? And it came back saying there are no credible reports of that ever happening. I then asked it about Thomas Matthew Crooks and got it to give the answer of what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. The next day, I did this for the show. We did it live. They've already updated. If you ask it about Thomas Matthew Crooks, it comes up with no answer. So there's nothing associated with that name or any major event. Wow. So it just suggests, I think this has been going on a long time, even before these AI tools, this sort of manipulation of crucial information.
Well, I think you're 100% correct. And this, of course, is not the government. This is a super wealthy commercial enterprise that would like to regulate what we think and see and hear.
Well, I always appreciate your time, and I highly encourage folks to watch Judging Freedom. And I've had some folks call in saying, "I don't agree with the judge." I'm like, good, go watch his show, keep watching. You might learn something. But then I also want to underline something before I let you go, Judge. Folks need to go read your piece from last week. We touched on it some last week in our conversation, but Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and the problem of torture. I think it lays out the backstory that a lot of folks who have a terrible taste in their mouth about what happened in 9/11, they need to understand how much the U.S. government, especially the Bush administration, screwed this up from the start.
You got that right. You got that right. If they had done what some of us, and we were a small minority at the time, I was at Fox, argued, which is try them in federal district court in Lower Manhattan, it would have been over with 20 years ago.
Well, we'll see where all this goes. I keep worrying that we're going to have to do this segment in the midst of massive war. Hasn't happened yet, thank God, truly. So I appreciate
it's coming. I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's coming.
I think it is. But I appreciate your time as always, sir, and God bless.
Joey. All the best. See you next week, my friend.
Yes, sir. Again, that's Judge Andrew Napolitano. Always appreciate his time. What are you smiling about, you dope?
I had a closing day. It was a great closing. My seller had to come back and sign the paperwork and saw Hannah and said, "You must be Hetty's wife."
Oh, so you're just getting the message
I
about?
just got the message literally just 2 seconds ago from both of them. Hey, Hannah's not your wife. And by the way, Hannah's like, hey, by the way, Logan thought I was your wife.
I'm sorry that happened.
It happens a lot.
I'm sorry that happened to her.
That's what I feel bad. I mean, I feel bad for that.
What, a man and a woman can't work together?
Not in this world, no. But there are a lot of teams that are man and women realtors. I get
That's
that.
true. Yeah. We know a couple that work in the region.
Yeah, actually, yeah. And I couldn't do it.
And he couldn't.
My wife would divorce me in 5 minutes. I mean, she knows how I am personally.
I know how you are.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to get things done.
Right.
I know you.
Yeah.
No, you do a good job, but sometimes the big bear might bite you.
Sense of urgency sometimes gets overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
But it was good to hear from the judge. And I'm glad you pointed out the fact that some people do have issues with what he says. And I think that's great, too. For one, it tells me people are listening. They're not just having it on in the background. But for two, he's somebody that has a different opinion than you.
Yes. Well, and
what
it's
is
also,
wrong with that?
I've learned that the right and left will often, over enough time, literally switch positions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like it used to be the left defending free speech, and now it's more the right. They were literally switch positions. And in particular, it seems the populists on the right are much more in favor of let's not get into any more stupid war. Yeah. Let's pull back. It used to be the left that claimed all that during the Bush era.
Peace.
But you notice that the establishment, whether it's Fox, MSNBC, CNN, or your true legacy networks, the prestige media at the New York Times, Washington Post, ABC, CBS, NBC, you'll notice that the one thing they never allow true dissent on are questions of American foreign policy and war. They might have a thoughtful op-ed critique every once in a while.
Okay.
It might be like really late after everybody's already changed their mind. They'll change the programming and we were
shouldn't have done that.
Right.
Yeah.
You saw them do that with COVID too.
Yes.
But I really respect especially anti-war libertarians. As somebody called, I guess yesterday, Billy called yesterday, I myself am not a pacifist, and I think there is, as much as I think war is madness and mass murder, and just violence eats into violence, we haven't solved human nature yet. So,
no.
You have to be prepared for the worst. And in fact, being strong and sending the right signals can keep deterrence. In fact, I really believe this. But I have a profound respect, and I think they're wise to listen to. It doesn't mean they're right about everything. Anti-war libertarians that are coming from a place of principle, number one, and coming from a place of we do not trust what the official organs of the government, including the corporate press, says about war.
That right there. That's so true.
And so I'm going to continue to listen to those folks. I don't take, again, I'm not just being served up. Oh, it's same thing with ChatGPT. Don't just take everything.
Can't. Especially nowadays.
Learn to trust people's values. Learn to trust who people are. And I think it'll provide more perspective. And
definitely.
Seriously, this piece on Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, they really screwed up. The reason they had to do a plea deal is they've gone through now, 4 judges, try to put together 4 panels of military men who are all shocked by what they did at Gitmo. And that's immediately going to get stuff thrown out. It would be... So who knows what's going to happen? I have a feeling KSM's going to die in Gitmo. He ain't leaving there.
Yeah, no.
But I don't think the death penalty is coming anytime soon either. So, and it's because of how they went about this during the Bush years.
They should have put him in there with Epstein. Wouldn't be having this problem right now. Right. We'll take care of our own like that. But we won't. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of other important things we can get to today. Did you listen to that whole Trump-Musk conversation?
I listened to probably not much of it, about 20, 30 minutes of it. I understand there was some reasons they had issues, and that's why I was able to catch it.
It went down. It was supposed to start at 7, didn't start till 7:40. Elon Musk said this was very clearly a DDoS attack, which is a
denial of service.
Yes, and it's also essentially like, imagine you're a person trying to sign into the space to hear Trump and Musk talk. You can have machines ready to go that are all putting in that request,
just like
trying to join the space.
Gotcha.
Where you literally are just
Overwhelm
destroying the system and overwhelming it. Because Musk said earlier in the day they tested it with 8 million concurrent viewers.
So I thought 8 million. I thought that would cover for what they wanted to
and
do.
it was crashing at only 200. So it's clearly an outside attack.
Yeah.
They were able to beat that back, and they got started about 7:40. Yes, Trump was using a cheap Bluetooth mic. There are photos of him leaning over the phone talking.
His audio.
And at first, I'm like, "What?" And we got the clips. We'll play some of the highlights from it. I'm like, "Why does Trump sound like this? Hey, how are you?" It's like it's called shush or slush on a digital feed, or it's just a crappy mic. It's a vocal compression problem. But if you actually just sat and listened, folks are like, he asked softball stuff. Like, Elon began the whole thing saying, this is just a conversation. And if Kamala wants to have one, sure, I'll have one with her.
Sure, why not?
You're not going to take him up on that. But he's like, no, this is just a conversation with somebody who was a former president who might be president again. He asked, what about the assassination? They really got into the southern border. They also got into what's going on abroad and foreign policy wise. I'd love the discussion around energy.
Yes.
And energy markets. And also the global warming.
We need to have the conversation.
And again, the corporate press, the mainstream folks are just so miserable. They're like, such a controversy over the global warming discussion. It's like, no, Elon and him had a respectful, different frame on how this is a problem. And largely on the practical politics of today, they agree. Elon's point was that if you get to it, what did he say? I'm starting to sound like Trump. 1,000 parts per million of CO2 in the atmosphere. That's when you can't breathe anymore. And you have headaches and all sorts of health problems. And we're nowhere near that. We still have a few centuries where we ever get to that level. So put warming and all the predictions
aside. Asteroid that might hit us before then?
Well, and Trump kept saying, well, what I'm really worried about isn't global warming, it's nuclear warming. Which, he's got a point.
Got a point right now.
That is, I think, the most pressing issue.
Now, the only question I have, and just call me old and ignorant, why didn't they do a video? Why was it only audio?
Because this is how Twitter Spaces work.
So they don't typically...
Yeah, they could have done a live stream on Twitter, I guess.
That's what I was wondering, if there was something up with that.
No, they kind of like doing the Spaces, and I appreciate Spaces in the sense that you don't have the glitz and glam of video. It is kind of what we do if you're just listening to us on radio. There's something about two guys just sitting and chatting. You get a sort of sense of the people in a different way. Information comes out in a different way. And there's something about a combative interview and Elon said this last night, where nobody's themselves. Like they're always on guard.
Edge.
And
yeah.
I've noticed that with politicians I'm even friendly with. Try to be friendly with. Like everybody's a little like, I don't want to have to talk about that, or I don't want to say that. It's just, if you can sort of relax and just have a conversation, I think it comes across in a different way. And it's a lot less stilted than the prepackaged, here's a 5-minute segment done by the news with all the graphics and the ticker to keep you paying attention. And Fox News alert, there's a puppy in a tree. I don't know why it's a Fox News alert, but apparently that puppy can climb trees. Like, you're just like, what are we even watching here? I kind of just like the relaxed, you don't see them, you're just listening. And I went about doing some chores around the house, listening to them, and we'll play a few clips of that coming up.
Cool.
But of course, when it comes to the mainstream press, more and more folks are starting to, laughter is a way of telling the truth, like involuntary laughter, when you laugh at a thing. And you might even after that go, how dare you make me laugh at that? How dare you? But in a way, laughter can sort of reveal the truth on everybody's mind. And I worry for some folks, they don't know when to laugh unless they have like a laugh track guiding them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's interesting about some of these shows now, where there is no like sitcom laugh track to cue you when to laugh at something.
They don't have the lights as applause or laugh?
I think they might still have that sort of thing around, but it's not quite what it used to be. And so this is Alabama's own Prattville native, Caitlin Collins of CNN.
Oh,
she was on with Stephen Colbert, and they're having a conversation about Trump and all sorts of stuff. And then Stephen just puts an offhand remark out there of like, y'all are journalists that objectively cover things. Yeah. And then the crowd all of a sudden decides to react. Let's watch this. Only like 50 seconds here.
On his heels by this, and he's not really sure how to go after Vice President Harris. He knew his attack lines on President Biden. He really has struggled with how to go after someone who's 20 years younger than him, who is a different gender, a different race. It's kind of been this moment where...
No, none of this is true, you stupid mean girl.
Joe.
Like, none of that's true, but keep going.
He has not been able to coalesce around a single attack line.
I know you guys are objective over there, that you just report the news as it is. No, I know. CNN makes a... I know
Was that supposed to be a laugh line?
I wasn't supposed to be, but...
You guys are objective over there. And like, wow.
Coalesce around a single attack line.
I know you guys are objective over there, that you just report the news as it is. No, I know. CNN makes a... I know.
Was that supposed to be a laugh line?
I wasn't supposed to be, but...
Yeah, but it's obvious even to Colbert audience members. Like, why are we playing this game? It's why I constantly say, people come to me and go, Joey, especially lately, folks now just paying attention. It's like, I do this every day, and you're just now popping your head and going, what's going on with politics,
It's
Joe?
election season, Bubba.
And there's some days I try not to rip family members' heads off, but I'm like, I will eat your whole head. Go away. I don't want to talk about it. But they're just, popping their heads in. They're like, oh, what's going on? And, how could you vote for Trump? He's such a liar. I'm like, they are all liars.
I hear the liar thing a lot, but
they are all liars. Trump is honestly full of it.
But when do you get examples? Ask for examples. That's when both sides, they seem to go,
But what I mean is Trump is always Trump.
Right.
Whereas all these other folks are whatever way the wind blows. I'm a candle in the wind. Whatever way I need to bend, I'll be that way. And that's what drives me nuts. These manipulators, these liars, these awful people, this brood of vipers that want to pretend like they're your moral betters while they also call for equality amongst men, which is just like, wait, so only the people that believe with your ideology are better and superior. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. It's almost like you can't escape hierarchies. That's interesting. It's just like, stop pretending you're above what you're doing. You're not. You are honestly what you are. And just be that way. Instead, we're going to still get the same games. But maybe more and more folks are now, whether they wanted to laugh or not, they laughed at the whole idea that CNN is objective. Poor Caitlin Collins, that mean girl.
I should be all right.
I think she'll be
He's
okay,
Alabama
too.
tough.
Hey, this part of the program brought to you by Smokehouse Pit Barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
Man, and they've got it going on.
Yes, sir, brother.
It is a true destination, a true institution, new ownership with the original recipes back.
Right.
So if you're looking for those barbecue fixins or, maybe you're just craving some fried okra, highly praised. But of course, pulled pork, brisket, the camp stew, great environment, especially on the evenings around the weekend with live entertainment, open bar.
Well, they got the TVs in there, so there's always something going on.
Yeah.
And again, we're going to have football season this month.
Yeah.
Month of football. So don't forget them. When you're having friends over for the big game, call them up. They will cater, man.
And don't forget, when it comes to Smokehouse Pit Barbecue, that they have the best breakfast
no
in
doubt.
the area.
No
It's
doubt.
a true destination for breakfast. You go, barbecue place, breakfast, yes.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And yes, you can even get barbecue on your biscuit if you want. They'll do that for you, but you can do any sort of specialty breakfast meat, even like fried bologna, if you want a fried bologna biscuit.
Be all right.
Well, that's pretty good right
Yeah,
there.
it is.
But their cheese grits are the best thing I've eaten
Oh, no
in
doubt.
years.
No
Truly amazing. So y'all check them out today. That's, again, Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. You can always search for them on Facebook, on the Book of Faces, or just stop by there, Main Street in Millbrook. And be sure to tell the great team that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Broken bricks, falling fences, damaged doors, Gorilla Glue. Of course. It's incredibly strong and 100% waterproof and bonds, well, virtually everything. While you're at it, look for Gorilla Tape, a heavy-duty double-thick duct tape, and Gorilla Super Glue, great for all your quick fixes and repairs. There's also Gorilla Epoxy, Gorilla Wood Glue, Gorilla Construction Adhesive, of course. You get it. If you can break it, Gorilla can fix it. For the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From a little fender bender to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For over 35 years, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather. Hi, everybody. It is still a hot and dry forecast for now. The rain prospects do improve a little bit later in the week. Today, lots of sun, another hot day, high around 98, triple-digit heat indices. Sure, tonight slowed down to about 75. Radar quiet again today, but some widely scattered random storms perhaps start to pop up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and over the weekend, and mainly in the afternoon and evening hours, but they will be few and far between. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At CB&S Bank, we've been meeting the needs of our customers since 1906. Need help setting up new business goals? Our line of commercial loans can help you achieve them. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. News and views in the afternoon, or as we're calling this thing online, Joey Clark Live. I'm Joey. That's Eddie over there.
How you doing today, Joey?
I'm all right, though. I'm trying not to lose my...
Are you getting triggered, man?
Oh, yeah, because I'm looking at this letter from the European Commission.
Oh, boy.
Are you aware of what the European Commission is?
No, but I'm not really that worried about it either.
It's a guy named Thierry Breton, Thierry Breton.
What's that, European Terry?
Yeah, I don't know. Thierry?
Yeah.
And he wrote yesterday, Dear Mr. Musk, I am writing to you in the context of recent events in the United Kingdom in relation to the planned broadcast on your platform X of a live conversation between a U.S. presidential candidate and yourself, which will also be accessible to users in the EU. I understand that you are currently doing a stress test of the platform. In this context, I am compelled to remind you of the due diligence obligations set out by the Digital Services Act, as outlined in my previous letter. As the individual entity ultimately controlling a platform with over 300 million users worldwide, of which 1/3 is the EU, that has been designated as a very large online platform, you have the legal obligation to ensure X's compliance with EU law, and in particular, the Digital Services Act in the EU. So I keep reading this thing, but essentially it's like, don't you dare talk to Trump or say certain things.
So if I had money like Elon, I'd have me a whole department that does nothing but send flaming poo to people like him.
Now, Elon responded in a way where I think he said something to the effect of, I wish I could share the meme from the end of Tropic Thunder. And of course he shares the meme where it's Tom Cruise saying, step back and literally your own face.
Right.
So he kind of responded in that way. He sort of responded in kind.
I've seen some of the threats from European, or actually British police, that, hey, Joey, even if you share something, we are coming to get you.
Right.
So I've been sharing a lot. I'm hoping I get a free trip to England.
Now, Michael Malice, one of my favorites out there online, he reminded me of this clip. He reminded all of his followers of this clip. But Nigel Farage.
Nigel?
Yeah. Here's what Malice wrote. What Farage said a decade ago about your colleague, talking about this guy who sent the letter to Musk, applies just as much to you genderless thing. So let's listen to Nigel Farage. It might help me get my my rage out today.
Oh, okay.
Because it's always there. That's my secret. I'm always triggered. But here is Nigel Farage really giving it to the Europeans.
You have the charisma of a damp rag and the appearance of a low-grade bank clerk. And the question that I want to ask, that we're all going to ask is, who are you? I'd never heard of you. Nobody in Europe had ever heard of you. I would like to ask you, President, who voted for you? And what mechanism? Oh, I know democracy is not popular with you lot. And what mechanism do the peoples of Europe have to remove you? Is this European democracy? Well, I sense, though, that you're competent and capable and dangerous. And I have no doubt that it's your intention to be the quiet assassin of European democracy and of the European nation states. You appear to have a loathing for the very concept of the existence of nation states. Perhaps that's because you come from Belgium, which of course is pretty much a non-country.
Yes.
But since you took over, we've seen Greece reduced to nothing more than a protectorate. Sir, you have no legitimacy in this job at all, and I can say with confidence that I can speak on behalf of the majority of the British people in saying, we don't know you, we don't want you, and the sooner you're put out to grass, the better.
I like that.
All right.
Yeah, but now, didn't he break law? Because that could have been offensive.
Yeah.
I mean, you're allowed to say it in certain spaces, or is it all the way across the board? I found it very confusing.
I just appreciate that. I don't think it's the majority of Brits. It's also the majority of... There's nothing that unites Americans like telling the UK and the Europeans to shove it.
Yep. But even the Brits, I mean, I've been watching again on the Tiki Talk and some on the YouTube, but they're protesting, they're standing up, and man, they've reached their breaking point. Big difference between us and the Brits. First Amendment.
Yeah, thank God for that.
And I again, as someone, I didn't realize that until I was probably middle high school, and I couldn't believe that there's another country, what I consider civilized, that doesn't have that.
So even though we have the First Amendment, get a load of this. This is what I mentioned to the judge. This was yesterday at the White House press corps. This was Mean Korean Jean being asked a question.
Oh, okay.
By a Washington Post reporter.
Sure, she handled it well.
This guy, I think, is a literal demon.
Oh.
Especially by his voice. He's just so fancy.
Slated to interview Donald Trump tonight on X. I don't know if the president is going to tune in. Feel free to say if he is or not. But I think that misinformation on Twitter is not just a campaign issue. It's a America issue. What role does the White House or the president have in sort of stopping that, or stopping the spread of that, or sort of intervening in that?
Intervening in that.
Misinformation, but it's a wider thing, right?
Yeah, no, and you've heard us talk about this many times from here, about the responsibilities that social media platforms have when it comes to misinformation, disinformation. Don't have anything to read out from here about specific ways that we're working on it, but
how do we hold y'all responsible for your misinformation? Just like the government. Well, whatever you say, we'll deem a lie, but of course we're allowed to lie to you.
Yeah, it's for your best. Only for you, Joey.
You're not special. You bleed red, you bleed just like anybody else. My point being, not that I want you bleeding, but that stop acting like you have some special authority. It was at least absurd when King said God appointed me king. It's getting more and more absurd by the day. Well, I'm able to do this because the people said so. Wait, the people that you censor, that you silence, that you manipulate, that you lie to? Those people, the ones that you do that to, are the ones that gave you legitimacy. How did people consent to what you do if they have no right not to consent? If they can't say no, thank you, go away, this is not the beginning of a conversation. My rights aren't up for a discussion or a vote, no matter how many of your press hounds get out there and stir up misinformation themselves. Drives me nuts, as you can tell. 272-9228. If you want to hop in on the conversation, I need to cool off for a second, so let's talk to Randall. Hey, Randall, how you doing?
What up, Randall?
Fine. Hey, now. I was just going to ask you, this is something I meant to ask you Thursday or Friday, but you remember I asked who was the best talk radio host in Alabama, and not only did I ask that, I went back and asked where he got the information from, or where she got the information from, and it told me, and I sent it to you. But do you think, and you was talking about the ones that talk to each other, can you get it to ask, can you get the one talking to ask the other one, you know what I mean, where it gets the information from? Is that something that
it will sometimes give sources, sometimes not. That's the problem.
Oh, okay. And you was talking about your family getting in on this stage. Man, my daddy listens every day, but my mama, she just been on and off about 2 months now. But she heard through one of her friends about the girl from Proudsville, Caitlin, and she tried to mash down my daddy like she knew what was all going on. And daddy listened to this show every day. It didn't go the way she thought. So it was funny to hear that from, man. They had me good. I didn't even get in it. I just stood back and listened. And I was laughing. Man, I was rolling.
Yeah, and it's just like everybody needs to admit they have a point of view. They have a bias. And once you admit these points of view and bias, you can then try to be fair. But you kind of know where all the lines are.
Right.
As opposed to this game of, well, I'm just perfectly objective. No, you're not. You're just not.
That's why I think politicians should dress like NASCAR drivers. They should have the patches of all their sponsors on them at all times. That way I know who is giving them directive. I know where these great ideas they had in the middle of the night really came from. That'd be a lot more honest.
And speaking of sponsors and ads, did you tell him, Eddie? I ain't saying it over the phone,
No,
but
I
I
didn't
want to
tell him.
remind you.
I'll tell him during break.
Tell him. All right, yes, sir. All right, man. I love y'all. I'm gonna get out of here.
Love you too, Randall.
See you, Randall.
This part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. And they're at Cole Plumbing. James and the team are ready to help you with any and all of your plumbing problems. From big leak inside or outside the home, they have proprietary pipelining technology there at Cole Plumbing that allows them to get in there and solve the problem with minimal discomfort to you in your home.
Right.
That means they're not going to have to tear out a bunch of drywall, dig up a huge hole in your yard.
Nobody wants that.
No, with precision and expertise, they can solve that big old leak. And do not wait. That's going to cause a lot of other damages.
Yep.
They understand there at Cole Plumbing time is of the essence when it comes to those big leaks. Of course, they can also help you with everyday plumbing issues from clogged drains, a low water pressure, maybe even tree root invasion or a gas line leak. Or your sump pump ain't working.
I know that either.
Of course, they can also help you upgrade. So maybe you want new accessories put in the bathroom, like say into the shower.
Yeah.
Or it could be want a new sink put in or a taller toilet to help with those hips that are getting a little older.
Yeah, I'm getting older.
Oh, you're going to get a taller toilet?
Gonna have to soon.
Very soon indeed. All that time as a
I'll be calling
fullback
James
in high
before
school.
long, I can promise you that.
Yeah, you're playing fullback in the backyard when you were there overseas in Turkey. It didn't go too well. His
didn't
hips
go well at all.
It's all coming back to him now.
These hips don't lie.
Of course, they can also help you upgrade to a tankless water heater system.
Joey. Save some money.
Mm-hmm. Or even fancy things like a bidet, Japanese toilet. They can do it all there at Cole Plumbing, so check them out today. You can always go to coleplumbing.com or just call them at 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl,
call on Cole,
and,
Joey.
for the record, Eddie, could you never, ever say hips don't lie?
Hips don't lie, Joey.
You're like Chubbs and Happy Gilmore for you, all in the hips. All in the hips.
You may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hey there, this is Hannah Grantham with Forest Meadows Homes and Land. And since my partner Eddie Bader and I started advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting, we've seen the results from it daily. Blue Water Broadcasting has become a second family, and I recommend them to anyone looking to advertise their business.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
If what you like is getting the highest payouts, getting the most free play, and finding more of your favorite games all on a spacious upscale gaming floor, then Wind Creek Atmore is your kind of fabulous. No matter what fabulous means to you, you'll find it here. Wind Creek Atmore. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The premier place the river region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. So Trump is back on X. In a second, in the second hour, we'll get into what highlights from the hour 40-minute long conversation. Had 1.2, 1.3 million people listening all at the same time.
Really? That's pretty good.
Pretty cool.
And you said it was only down about 40 minutes?
Yeah, but they didn't. It's not like they started and failed. They
just didn't start?
When they were supposed to start a massive DDoS attack, distributed denial of service attack, was definitely implemented. And they were able to fight that back. It's not shocking to me. Because as soon as the DDoS attack hits, all of a sudden everybody's running in the mainstream press of, oh, a crash or technical glitches. Like, no, they were literally attacked. Could you...
Do you think, Joey, that they got the memo that said, hey, at this time they will have a critical breakdown? Get ready for it.
Right. So, but the first thing Trump posted saying he's back, this was yesterday morning. Let's listen in together.
Trump has left the building.
We can now project the winner of the presidential race. Donald Trump wins the presidency. What started off as unlikely, impossible, is now reality.
I will fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down.
We have a president who actually fulfilled the promises he made during the campaign. Securing the border to foreign policy.
He now has a record as president that's pretty damn impressive.
Breaking news out of Palm Beach,
The FBI
Florida.
has executed an unprecedented search warrant at President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. The former president has both sides of the political aisle up
is
in
a
arms.
dangerous and unstable moment in American history.
The Justice Department has just indicted former President Donald Trump.
For 7 years, they hated him, they targeted him, they hunted him.
This is the epitome of the abuse of the prosecutorial power to preempt political decisions.
I never thought anything like this could happen in America. The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. They're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving. On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done. We will take back our country, and we will make America great again. America will always rise to every challenge and overcome every danger.
Donald Trump seems to always get stronger when challenged. These types of things, I think, give him strength.
When I'm reelected, I will totally obliterate the deep state.
As long as we have pride in our beliefs, courage in our convictions, and faith in our God, then we will not fail.
$44 million views.
Wow.
That was the first thing shared as they returned to X. First thing. And many other ads that are now being shared far and wide. Yeah, the games are just beginning. I think more and more people are paying attention now. Not everybody's paying attention.
I'm seeing more and more man on the street interviews, and it's I know what polls say, but the man on the street interviews I see all kind of be going the way I'm thinking. More and more people are going for Trump. I mean, and they're not hiding about it.
Right.
Especially some that I would think would kind of be quiet about it. They're like, no, 100%. And they give you reasons why. Most of them won't just say Trump or Kamala and walk away. They'll tell you who they're voting for, and they tell you why. And that, to me, makes me feel better because I know it's not identity politics at that. If they got a reason, at least they got a reason.
Well, in a second, we need to hit this top of the hour break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Dylan Rings. And Josh and Leslie Ryder there, Dylan Rings, are ready to help you out, whether you're talking custom design work or, say, spa treatments, like clean up that jewelry.
That's right.
Appraisals. Could be you have a family heirloom you haven't had appraised in a while.
Values have changed.
Yeah, with inflation, whether it's Beanie Babies, Pokemon cards, or whatever collectible,
everything.
Jewelry especially, the prices have gone up, especially on those antique pieces. And, of course, they also have new styles and a great selection there at Dylan Rings. They have new styles, antique styles, or whimsical styles. I'm looking at their Facebook page right now. So Dylan Rings can get, or can make for you whatever that statement you're wanting to make. Let us help you with your story, the perfect accent to your daily wardrobe or that special outfit. So yeah, it could be a big event. Could be you want to do something silly. Like if Eddie and I, say we win like a scratch off.
Oh.
Say we win like $2,000 on a scratch off.
Okay.
Doubtful, but
it won't see the light of day. I can promise you that.
No, I'm saying we go buy funky fresh medallions.
I do that. That's what I would do with that kind
That's what I mean. That's what we're doing. If you win free money, let's go get medallions.
It would not see the light of day. It would quickly be gone on something funny, but frivolous as that. I think that'd be a great idea.
And here's what they mean by whimsical or frivolous. Look, it's a paperclip necklace.
Yeah.
But the paperclip is encrusted with diamonds.
Oh, wow.
really fun, cool stuff right
that's
there.
pretty cool.
So maybe, you're an office manager or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's a fun thing. They can do it all there at Dylan Rings, so check them out. You can, again, always go to Facebook or Instagram or just DylanRings.com. That's DYLAN rings.com. But I really encourage you to stop by that brand new renovated showroom, 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery. That's just off of Atlanta Highway, kind of where the old fun zone used to be.
Yep.
That's how I remember it. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Iran could launch a strike on Israel this week. The U.S. and its allies are preparing for a significant set of attacks from either Iran or its proxies. National Security spokesman John Kirby says the U.S. shares the Israeli intelligence assessment that an Iranian attack could come within days. The Russian Defense Ministry says its forces have checked an effort by Kyiv's troops to expand a stunning week-long incursion into Russia's Kursk region. The Ukrainian Foreign Ministry official said that Kyiv has no intention of occupying Russian territory in this operation. The Russian Defense Ministry said forces had stopped the Ukrainian troops from moving deeper into Russia. The Dow had 327 points, the NASDAQ Composite up 377. This is SRN News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-8822. That's 800-838-8822. 800-838-8822.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas weather. Hi, everybody. It is still a hot and dry forecast for now. The rain prospects do improve a little bit later in the week. Today, lots of sun, another hot day, high around 98, triple-digit heat indices. Sure, tonight slowed down to about 75. Radar quiet again today, but some widely scattered random storms perhaps start to pop up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and over the weekend, and mainly in the afternoon and evening hours, but they will be few and far between. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
John Bobo with Capital Tractor. Don't miss our great package deal right now on a 25 horsepower Kubota tractor with front end loader and more. All for 0% APR 84 months with approved credit.
Now through September 30th, 2024. See Capital Tractor or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. A pedestrian who died days after being hit by a vehicle in Montgomery has been identified. 40-year-old D. Lorenzo Ringstaff was struck by a vehicle that also hit a parked car on West Fairview Avenue August 1st. Ringstaff was taken to an area hospital where he died of his injuries on August 5th. The cause of the crash remains under investigation. The popular cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase will host a town hall meeting in Montgomery tomorrow. The event will be held at Prevail Coffee on Dexter Avenue Wednesday at 4 p.m. Several Alabama lawmakers and advocates from across the nation will be in attendance to educate the public on the possibilities of cryptocurrency. Multiple vehicle burglaries were reported near two Montgomery fire station locations in the early morning hours of Sunday and Monday. Vehicles were broken into and property stolen in the area of fire stations located at both Forest Avenue and Rosa Parks Avenue. No further information was available in this ongoing investigation. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your updated market report. Through 7 months of 2024, over 2,900 homes have sold and closed in the River region. The average price was $260,000, and 60% of these homes sold in 60 days or less. Since mortgage rates have dropped over a point, buyers can save thousands of dollars in payments of what it would have been just 8 weeks ago. The supply of homes has increased, giving buyers more choices than they've had all year. To identify your next home, focus on what's important to you as features that will make the move worthwhile. By getting pre-approved with a local lender, hiring the best home inspector, and most importantly, hiring an experienced buyer agent will make it all go smoothly. For a list of 17 essential buyer agent services and a list of the best lenders and local inspectors, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers.
It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Quick programming note, the Secretary of State for the great state of Alabama, Wes Allen, will be joining us, I believe, over the phone to discuss, a recent push he just announced today, I believe, that they are implementing a process to remove non-citizens registered to vote in Alabama off the voter rolls.
Good.
And they've come up with a way of identifying non-citizens, and we'll see where this goes. But, of course, there's also, in other news, a big town hall happening tomorrow afternoon. I think you can still RSVP. Coinbase, I think the largest crypto exchange, custody holder. A lot of the big players using Coinbase and have for years to execute trades and do so many other things. They're having their first ever Alabama meetup. First time ever Coinbase will be in Alabama, partnering with Prevail Coffee and Stand with Crypto. So the event, I believe, is at 4 tomorrow.
Okay.
At Prevail Coffee, downtown there, Dexter Avenue. During the event, you'll learn how crypto is positively impacting local businesses, what the future of crypto looks like in the larger crypto political landscape. I think there are going to be a lot of big names there, like a lot of folks in the business side, entrepreneurial side of things, but say political figures as well, maybe even folks running for office. I have a sense that you're going to see some congressional candidates there.
Cool.
So you just look on Coinbase, On-Chain Summer, and just Coinbase, Montgomery, Alabama, Coinbase, Alabama. You should have the page pull up. It's Coinbase's own website. And Representative Mike Shaw will be there. We've talked to Mike on this show. Representative Philip Insler will be there. Of course, we talked to Phil on this show. Ashley Gunn, she's the senior manager of U.S. policy there for Coinbase. Wade Preston, the co-founder of Prevail Coffee. John Anzalone, Impact Research, part of and founder there at Coinbase. And the executive director of Stand with Crypto, Logan Dobson. So a lot of different big names in that space. If you're interested, again, that is going to be at Prevail Coffee tomorrow afternoon. RSVP online on the Coinbase website. If you want to join, again, 334-272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Good morning. This is Ole Miss.
Hey, Ole Miss.
Y'all doing all right?
Pretty good. How you doing, man?
Oh, I can't complain other than the heat.
Hey, you're right about that.
The reason I'm calling is I heard you talking about the electronic money, basically. I was listening to the international radio last week, and if I'm not mistaken, this was not what I called about, but Japan took up the Bitcoin to some sort of monetary use in their government, and they just bottomed out last week, if I'm not mistaken. Their market, their stock market, the Bitcoin part of it flopped. Am I mistaken?
No, there was a carry trade with the Japanese yen that went nuts, and that's how they got messed up.
Okay. Well, like I said, I didn't know much about it. The reason I was calling was I heard you and Eddie talking the other day, and I was too busy to call in. But think about this. I'm old school. I like to invest in actual, hold it in your hand and put it in your pocket, gold and silver. Who can afford gold? But something to think about. Over the years, silver in 30 years has gone from $21 to $30. All right? And that's about 30 years. Now, in the last 8 months, it's gone from $30 to $38. Now, if you were a gentleman who had a couple of $100,000 invested in bullion, don't you think you'd be making a profit right now?
Yes, you would.
Sure. I mean, I'm making pretty good profit holding Bitcoin right now, too, though.
Oh, I know, but what's going to happen after the election? Yeah, I can still hold mine.
Depends on the government.
On the computer, you're through.
Yeah, not necessarily with the way Bitcoin works.
I know it's a whole lot more complicated than that, but
well, and I would recommend to you, Ole Miss, just search the name Michael Saylor. It's Saylor. Michael Saylor, Bitcoin Conference 2024. It's about a 30-minute speech. He's got slides and stuff. It's engaging, and he lays out a great case for Bitcoin. I would encourage you and anybody else to. That's probably a great place to start. A good 30-minute watch there.
Yeah, be honest, I'm just not interested in electronics.
That's fair.
When our government starts wanting to use it, it sets off all kinds of bells and whistles. But it's just, I have a feeling this go around there's going to be a lot of conflict between new ideas and old school methods that have worked. And I'm just.
Well, the one I like gold and silver. I like where you're coming from. The problem with gold and silver, if you look at just U.S. history, is the government takes it from you.
Yes,
right.
They will.
Yeah, well, like I said, I got a policy at my house. It's BYOBB because the butter zerg's got to eat too. You don't bring a body bag come to get my silver, you'll be left out in the yard for the crows to eat.
That's a man right there. Yep. I appreciate it, Ole Miss.
See you, brother.
Yeah, that is old school. No, and I get it. Like, I'm not saying you have to do any of this stuff. I just think it is the cutting edge, and it's one of the biggest, Bitcoin in particular, innovations ever accomplished.
Look at it today? Look at Bitcoin today?
No. Like how much?
Not much. Just, we've been on an upward
Stop
trend.
looking at it every day.
I don't. Just when somebody brings it up, I look at it. And most times I've looked at it here lately, especially like, yeah.
Yeah, if you look at your year returns, like, and I still kick myself. If I'd been thinking more in the long term when I first got into this, I'd have a lot of money.
You would have bought Apple too. Yeah, I mean, everybody.
Sure. But it's like, imagine like you bought Apple in the early 90s.
Traded it for a pizza.
And then you sold it and you're like, I made a few grand. Like, good job. Out of nothing. And you're like, you dope. You should have held it.
Joey, no. You made a few grand. You made money.
I did.
So that's success. That is success.
Okay. No, I think healthier to look at it in a long-term window, 5-10 year window.
But also it shows you comfort. You've dealt with it. You've bought it. You've sold it. So you understand how it works. So now you're very comfortable with it.
Yes. Largely. We'll see where it goes. Just slow but surely. And that Coinbase town hall there at Prevail Coffee should be a good time. A lot of folks showing up, I hear.
Good deal.
So the big event last night was the Elon Musk, Donald Trump Spaces conversation. And here's the beginning of that, where Musk addressed what took so long. Well, you're 40 minutes late.
All right. Hello, everyone. My apologies for the late start. We unfortunately had a massive distributed denial of service attack against our servers and saturated all of our data lines. Like basically hundreds of gigabits of data were saturated.
Wow.
We think we've overcome most of that, and so it's now time to proceed. But As this massive attack illustrates, there's a lot of opposition to people just hearing what President Trump has to say, and but I'm honored to have this conversation. I want to emphasize it's a conversation, and it's really intended to just get a feel for what Donald Trump is just like in a conversation. It's hard to catch a vibe about someone if you just don't hear them talk in a normal way. And when there's an adversarial interview, like no one's themselves in an adversarial interview.
True.
So and this is really aimed at kind of open-minded, independent voters who just trying to make up their mind, so you can understand like what is what is it just like to have a conversation. So honored to Donald, great to speak. We had a great conversation yesterday. As you mentioned yesterday, if we could just record that conversation and post it, it would have been excellent. And I hope we can have something like that today.
Well, I think we will. I'm pretty sure we will. And congratulations, because I see you broke every record in the book with so many millions of people, and it's an honor. We view that as an honor. And then you do want silencing of certain voices. Usually those are voices that have something to say that are constructive, oftentimes constructive. And so we have to consider it an honor. But congratulations on breaking every record in the book.
Congratulations on breaking every record in the book. And so it went on from there. He asked Trump about the sniping and about the assassination attempt.
I mean, looking at the aerial views, that building would be like the #1 spot for a sniper. I mean, it's like if you were to pick like what is the favorite place, so if the goal is to assassinate, what's your favorite spot? That building. The roof of that building would be #1.
That would have been the spot.
It's like you can ask for a better location. It's like
no, that would have been the spot.
Yeah, and Trump, all he did was praise the Secret Service. That's all he's done since that assassination attempt.
Joey, they are, believe it or not, the people that are supposed to protect him.
No,
So probably a good idea not to dog them out.
Probably shouldn't dog them out. That would be ill-advised. Musk then praising Trump, how he behaved right after shots were fired at him.
Your actions after that assassination attempt were inspiring. You, instead of shying away from things, instead of ducking down, you were pumping your fist in the air and saying, fight, fight, fight. And I think that's, I mean, the president of the United States represents America. And I think that is America. That is strength under fire. And so that's, a big, part of the reason why I was excited to endorse you as the president of the United States for having another term here, is that was just incredibly inspiring. But I mean, what was it like for you?
Not pleasant. I have to be honest. I said there was blood. I had more blood. I didn't know I had that much blood.
So yeah, it was kind of freewheeling, and they kept going. And then the discussion turned to policy, with Trump criticizing Kamala Harris for her, wait for it, Eddie, hypocrisy.
Oh, shocker.
Their hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Would it be accurate to say that you're supportive of legal immigration, but we also need to shut down illegal immigration, and especially unvetted illegal immigration, because and that's not the same as saying that everyone who's an illegal immigrant is bad. In fact, I think most people who are illegal immigrants are actually good, but you can't tell the difference unless there's a solid vetting of who comes across the border. Does that accurately represent your position?
I say it very simply. They have to come in legally. They have to be checked. Yeah. Because look, Kamala was the border czar. Now she's denying it. Everything that I do, she's saying she was strong on the border. We're going to be strong. Well, she doesn't have to say it. She could close it up right now. They could do things right now. It's horrible. No tax on tips, and all of a sudden she's making a speech and there will be no tax on tips. I said that months ago. Mm-hmm. And by the way, they had just the opposite. They had not only tax on tips, but they hired 88,000 IRS agents,
and many of them were assigned to go get waitresses and caddies and all of this on tips. They have a policy. They had a policy that they were really going to go after you and were really harassing people horribly. And then all of a sudden, for politics, she says, she comes out with what I said, which I think is terrible. And I think it's also hitting them very hard. These people are fake. Now they're also saying they did a good job on the border. We had the worst numbers in the history of the world, not of our country. There's never been a country in history that has had a catastrophe like this. We've had, I believe, and I think you believe this too, you hear 12 million, 13. I believe it's over 20 million people came into our country, many coming from jails, from prisons, from mental institutions, or a bigger version of that is insane asylums.
Yeah. So Trump seemed very comfortable in the setting. Obviously, he's talking to a fellow billionaire who's endorsed him now outright. And, of course, they talked about the border issues, got in some quips about Joe Biden's IQ. But Musk then proposed a bold plan to cut government spending, linking inflation directly to government overspending. As a libertarian, I found this one of the greatest parts of this conversation, especially, I don't know if it's in this clip, but Donald Trump himself brought up Javier Milei of Argentina.
Oh, did?
Nice. He ran on MAGA, but like an extreme version. I kind of like it. Like, let's listen in.
The inflation, it doesn't matter what you make. The inflation is eating you alive. If you're
and you can tell, by the way, what people are talking about with the bad mic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've heard it.
Like, it sounds like he has a lisp, but there's something going on there.
a worker, or if you're just a middle income person, you can't afford. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, people were saving a lot of money. Today, they're using all their money and borrowing money just to live. It's a horrible thing that's happening, and we'll end that quickly.
Well, I think a lot of a lot of people just don't understand where inflation comes from. Inflation comes from government overspending because the checks never bounce when it's written by the government. So if the government spends far more than it brings in, that increases the money supply, and if the money supply increases faster than the rate of goods and services, that's inflation. So really, we need to have we need to reduce our government spending, and we need to re-examine. I think we need like a government efficiency commission to say like, hey, where are we spending money that's sensible? Where is it not sensible?
Right. Close down the government tomorrow.
And we need to live within our means. We're currently adding, I think, $1 trillion to the deficit roughly every 100 days.
That's right.
And the interest payments on the national debt have now exceeded the defense budget. It's on the order of $1 trillion.
It's interest,
and it keeps growing.
Yeah, it's a major issue. So we'll see. This is Musk now addressing addressing the European Union that we talked about last hour.
There's a lot of attempts to do censorship and to force censorship, even on Americans from other countries. And I think it's obvious that you're a believer and an advocate of free speech, because during your first term as president, you were attacked relentlessly every day, often very unfairly with false attacks. And you didn't try to shut down the media. You didn't try to inhibit their freedom of speech. And I think that says a lot.
Well, of course, and you remember the whole controversy over how they revoked one reporter's press credentials?
Yeah, I do. I remember that a lot.
And they're like, you're attacking the freedom of speech. It's like, no, your little privilege there to be in that room is not the same thing. You can write and print and say whatever you want to.
Yep.
But that's what folks actually mean when they're in sort of the legacy press by freedom of speech. Like, we're allowed to say whatever we want and have full access.
Yeah.
Whereas all these other folks who aren't quite as cool as we are, who didn't go to the right schools and know the right people, they need to be controlled. We're the responsible ones. We know what we're doing.
It's very government-like, Joey.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, of course, that just scratched the surface. It was an hour, 40-minute conversation. It's available all sorts of places online at this point. If I have to teach you how to use the internet, then, well, that's too much work. You know how to use the internet.
That's a Google.
Right. That's how you do it? You just get the Google? You just get the Google?
Get the Google.
272-9228. I forget who I work with sometimes.
Is it not simply the easiest thing to do? You get the Google. Or now you can get the Alexa and ask the Alexa, or you can use like DuckDuckGo. was it 1970 something? We're going to ask Jeeves next.
I wish they'd bring it back. I wish they
really
would,
you're into some Ask Jeeves, right?
I'm a PG Wodehouse fan, so like, yeah, Jeeves is great.
I remember when that came out, and again, I'm an old nerd, but I was like, dude, that's the most genius thing ever. Why didn't I think of that? You can ask this guy, and I did, man. I probably spent hours. Let me ask you this.
Of course, the Babylon Bee has a headline out today, all the real fake news, saying
Yeah?
Tim Walz clarifies that he's not stealing valor, just redistributing it.
I see. Yeah,
That's sound.
Is he getting much pushback on the whole stealing valor?
I don't think it's going away, man.
Good, because all I keep hearing, and maybe I'm listening just one side of things, but all I keep hearing is the pushback of, you guys are picking on him, you're picking on her. Y'all are picking on him, you're picking on her, instead of going after policies. But when there's no policies to go after, what do you have?
Well, and also, you lied, man.
Openly, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times.
That's the problem. You lied about it. And a lot more people are starting to wake up who this, I still love Tim Dillon's characterization, this funnel cake dad is, really, at the end of the day.
It is more and more stuff coming out about him. There was a story this morning on Fox about him locking up a grandmother during COVID because she violated some stupid COVID law.
On his wife, like, I had to breathe in the smell of the burning tires. It's like, what is wrong with this witch?
Well, that's why he shakes her hand first.
Yeah, maybe
Make
so.
sure there's no dagger in it before he goes in for the hug.
It's like she had some kettle that was boiling over. And it was...
Again, I don't understand how people like this get in power. The daughter was giving out, when they were having the riots, the daughter was letting people know where the cops were coming. How do people like this get into power? Again, it get back into bizarro world. And I know Trump is not perfect, but I see the vast difference between Kamala and Trump is I see a guy that doesn't need to do this. And for whatever reason, call out of the goodness of his heart or just because he's so conceited, but he feels like he can turn this country around. The other side seems to, they can make this country what we've got now and make it worse. And they're open. Both sides are very open about it. They're not hiding anything. I just don't understand how people can look without saying, well, she's a woman. So what? So what? Well, he is mean.
Yeah, it's just
So
absurd.
what?
Like, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump because he has a penis. Like, that's
ridiculous.
I guess, well, it's ridiculous. It's as legit as so many other reasons to vote, though. It's just absurd.
But I mean, you literally have someone saying, I would like to save our country, turn our country around. We can all look at the path we're on going, oh, this is not good for nobody. Or you have the other side that says, hey, this is great. Come on. We're all going to hell. Y'all get with us. Let's go.
But I'm seeing here, it's a guy named Cynical Publius. And Publius.
Okay.
And he put out there, my wife is also a veteran, both active and guard, and she is even more conservative than me. However, she does not follow the news as closely as I do because it gets her too upset. I can relate on it.
Yeah.
I just told her that Walz's retirement award was an Army Commendation Medal, and she started giggling uncontrollably. She gets it. Vets get it. For you civilians, when the Minnesota National Guard gave Walz a lowly Army Commendation Medal as his retirement award, it was a deliberate slap in the face because of his dishonor. Trust me on this one. And then another account responded to this saying, for civilians, just imagine you're retiring from your company after 24 years. You've seen many others retire after a similar amount of time, and they were all given a $5,000 gold watch. However, at your retirement, you're given a $50 card for a local steakhouse. What message would you take from that? Yeah.
Yeah, but you can spin it.
Yeah. Well, they can try. How about you actually address it?
That's
He
idea.
misspoke. Give me so he lied.
But again, they're dogging out Donald Trump for talking to people. When what are they doing?
Oh, and the Harris campaign was seething and all this stuff about Musk and them talking. Saying, Elon's taking over our democracy. Wait, so what outlet? One guy isn't
one
with
guy.
the program
One guy.
of the rest of the corporate media, and he's now the threat. And maybe that's correct, because you don't need the majority, you just need an alternative. And just because you have an alternative where people can actually speak their minds without being curtailed or controlled by these power centers,
Yeah.
they're freaking out.
Why? Because they can't control the message?
Right.
Control.
He's ruining our democracy by saying things.
By talking? Have an open conversation?
Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Rick,
Hey, Rick.
How you doing?
Let me get off the speaker here. Yeah, I'm hot as hell in the garage.
I bet.
And, of course, it is summertime, so it's supposed to be, ain't it?
Mm-hmm. That's what it does.
And you ain't got a ticket. You hadn't got a ticket going up down 231 yet, have you?
No, but I seen them out there.
Oh, that Joey, they are on the swarm. Just
seen
don't
'em.
even have to do something. They swarming. They got nothing else to do. Now I heard on NPR this morning. Sometimes I turn in while all the news and the commercials are going on your station, and they were all talking this morning about Elon Musk and Trump and how Trump was had a lisp and all kinds of weird stuff, trying to make him sound like he's old. This is what the buzz is going to be on the national news, I have a feeling, today.
Yeah, I know, because they're, again, it's like high school Mean Girls, honestly.
It is. It's so immature, and, obviously they ain't going nowhere, but otherwise nobody's covering it. National news didn't cover it on any of these.
Who cares? It's got 1 billion views at this point. And by the way, I forgot to play one of my favorite parts. It's only 15 seconds. Let's listen in.
I said to Vladimir Putin, I said, don't do it. You can't do it, Vladimir. You do it, it's going to be a bad day. You cannot do it. And I told him things that what I do, and he said, no way. And I said, way. And again, I said to Vladimir.
The Wayne's World portion of the interview.
Yep.
What's funny about that is all these big top shots in these countries all know what Donald Trump's saying when he says way and no way and Rocket Man.
Oh, yeah.
They all know what the hell he's talking about, so they must be keeping up. And let's face it, the world is Americanized. Period. Exclamation point.
Yep.
Every part of the world has become somewhat an imitation of America. It just stuns me in every country, every place. I mean, we have really taken over this planet, and there's good and bad sides to that, as we know. And Joey, now, what about the meltdown? Oh, first of all, have cash. Need I say more after Regions completely failure yesterday of everybody's debit cards, telling them they ain't got no damn money? Did you hear about that?
Actually, I didn't, because I don't use them.
Well, I didn't either, but everybody's debit card was off and showed no funds yesterday at Regions.
Good job, guys.
Yes. So it's time to keep a lot of cash, because that could happen anytime, anywhere.
But at least they got a good ESG score, right?
I don't know. I haven't been in the bank in 15 years. I refuse to go. And if somebody doesn't want to pay me cash, I'm out the door, because that's $100 bill is real money. Regardless of what it's worth, it's still real money, ain't it, guys?
Yep. Sure.
So that's what I keep. Lots of them. And don't try to get them, or you're going to be a dead SOB. Roll Tide, go Trump.
War Eagle. 272-9228. I got to hear this again from Trump.
And again, I said to Vladimir Putin, I said, don't do it. You can't do it, Vladimir. You do it, it's going to be a bad day. You cannot do it. And I told him things that what I do, and he said, no way. And I said, way.
Way.
Way. Swing.
Right.
Oh, wow. Well.
Way. I can't get over it.
That's pretty funny. No, and they did recount the whole Rocket Man feud before, and Trump's like, yeah, he thought Secret Service was happy me stepping into North Korea.
No, but
they were not.
They were not, but look what happened. And they managed not to screw that one up.
Yeah. Well, no, they're back to testing all sorts of rockets, and now North Korea has been given more technology by the Russians, so that's great. And, not to just brush over, just skip over what Napolitano told us, that It was a NATO operation, this push into Kursk and Belgorod. I kind of wanted to be like, well, I'm not surprised, given there have been reports now for over a year that there are foreign nationals that ain't Ukrainian operating. So are they officially in uniform, or, if they die, do they actually come back home in a body bag, or do they disavow and acknowledge what they're doing? Are these private contractors? We are entering a weird world. It's been this way, especially since the so-called war on terror, that more and more folks are not officially in uniform. They're essentially just for hire.
Yep.
And certain, say, agencies like it that way.
Yeah.
A little more flexibility.
Dude, think about it. If you're an employer in general, it's great. It's much better to have a contract employee, because at that point, everything's at arm's length. Whatever Joey does, I didn't know he did. He's a contract employee. I didn't hire him. This contractor I hired him. Puts you at arm's length. That's why huge companies do it all the time. I didn't know. I'm not responsible for doing Joey's background test, because he's a contract employee. There's other people did that. I'm not responsible to drug test Joey. He's not my employee. That's contract employee.
Right. I don't know who these people are.
It gives you deniability. That's why that's so popular.
I know nothing.
Yep. I don't have to give Joey benefits. He's a contract employee. That's somebody else's job.
So we'll see where this incursion goes. Reports that Russia's now having to move troops to respond. It's okay. What's winning look like? Like any sort of small success, or like what's the overall win situation?
And I don't know, but I kind of got a feeling Vladimir's buying his time for dollars.
Well, and I think it's Clausewitz, like the old geostrategic thinker, old Prussian. They still, I think, teach at military schools. Said that you've got to defeat your enemy by getting your enemy to admit he's defeated.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have to be defeated in their own mind.
Yeah, or else they'll keep fighting.
And I just have a feeling this is just making people dig their heels in more. Yeah. And there's no stopping in a while. We'll see
Dawn,
where it goes.
Baby. I know it's before your time, but Red Dawn.
Oh, no, when the nuclear plant in Zaporizhzhia was set on fire, it's like, well, damn. Like, I think it's stable. Like, it wasn't the actual reactors, thank God. But, man.
Give it the opportunity's still there, Joey.
And because these are old school plants, so this is.
And there's a fat Russian guard out in front sleeping that's guarding the place. He don't care what happens to him.
Better be like, I don't care if he's fat. He better be effective. He sleeps with one eye open.
Yeah, give me $10. You can go in.
This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and there at Pest Pro, Ashley and the team are ready to help you with any and all of your pest control problems. Could be a specific job, like those army worms are tearing up the yard, or fire ants are popping up all over the place. Or you're worried about termites. You haven't had that checked on in a while.
You need to.
They can help you with all those specific jobs. Maybe get rid of those mosquitoes in the backyard front here, especially the football season coming up. Maybe some people like to watch on the back porch.
A lot of people do. In Alabama, we get a few months of the year we can actually do that. That time is coming up.
But the mosquitoes will still be around.
Yes, they will.
Eat you up, especially that nighttime game.
Yep.
Like you've been day drinking all day. You've been running the smoker, and you're trying to relax to watch Bama and LSU.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, you're just getting eaten up by a mosquito. Just get them treated.
Yeah, so easy.
And, of course, they can be your everyday pest control company there at Pest Pro Services. So it's not even a specific thing. It's just like they got my back, generally speaking. So check them out today. You can always call Pest Pro at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. What do you want to know? Call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell them that Ashley and, well, that great team, tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hey, folks, thank you for making CTE Outdoor Power a preferred dealer and Hustler one of the most popular riding mowers. Recently, I met a couple from Evergreen who discovered us because friends recommended both CTE and Hustler. They heard our team of friendly, helpful professionals would guide them to the Hustler model that's the best fit for them, and that because we support all the products we sell, we take the hassle out of future needed parts and service. They liked Hustler because of the highest quality and warranty, and that we partner with Hustler to offer 0% interest financing. Now, if you haven't discovered Hustler and CTE yet, now is the perfect time, because this month, when you mention this ad, we'll pay the sales tax when you purchase any new riding mower. Folks, can you get all that anywhere else? CTE Outdoor Power, I-85 at Perry Hill Road, and CTEOutdoorPower.com.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man. Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From a little fender bender to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For over 35 years, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather. Hi, everybody. It is still a hot and dry forecast for now. The rain prospects do improve a little bit later in the week. Today, lots of sun, another hot day, high around 98, triple-digit heat indices. Sure, tonight slowed down to about 75. Radar quiet again today, but some widely scattered random storms perhaps start to pop up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and over the weekend, and mainly in the afternoon and evening hours, but they will be few and far between. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors & More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors & More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
Accurate, immediate, carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Boom, boom, boom. To news and views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Now, I want to go to what is a pretty good op-ed that he's now posting directly to X. Everybody's jumping on board this app. I kind of like it. Victor Davis Hanson.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's an interview I want to get.
That'd be a good one.
It's one I want to prepare for.
That would be a good one.
Because he deserves at least that. But his op-ed today, Victor Davis Hanson writes, "Who is running America at the abyss?" Remember that movie? It's a good movie. It was like an underwater thing.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good one, actually. Maybe it's childhood blurred memories and it doesn't hold up at all.
But I do remember it.
Because isn't Ed Harris in that one? Yeah.
Okay, well, that's what I thought. Yep.
Who, by the way, I think he's underrated. Ed Harris? Is like damn good actor. Like even in movies that are supposed to be like B-movie action stuff, he kind of steals the show sometimes.
Ed Harris is good.
Anyway, who is running America at the abyss? Writes Victor Davis Hanson. Ukraine recently uparmed by NATO and America, has just successfully crossed the border into a stunned Russia, prompting a panicked Kremlin version of our DEFCON 2. Rumors swirl that Iran plans to strike Israel sometime this week. Iran just putting out statements earlier today saying we're not going to refrain from attacking. Well, apparently it's coming, with outside opportunistic bullies like Hezbollah and Turkey threatening also to intervene against the Jewish state. U.S. naval and ground forces in the theater are purportedly readying themselves on orders from someone to either be prepared to become further attacked or, again, to help protect the homeland of Israel. And meanwhile, in the U.S., President Joe Biden has hardly been seen or heard for weeks, other than a photo op bicycling in Delaware, sunning on the beach, or trying to explain why he was removed from his party's nomination. He apparently has at least obtained permission from his stealthy handlers for the time being to stay at his other job as president. I agree. Vice President and now anointed Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris equally avoids journalists, impromptu speaking, and news conferences as she focuses on next week's Democratic convention. But Harris is at least savvy enough not to say anything to anyone that is not teleprompted or scripted. Harris also continues to act and talk as if she is not currently Vice President of the United States, serving a debilitated president. But she does promise that she will reanimate in 6 months to fix things that went wrong under her current tenure when she believes she will become the president. Tim Walz, Harris's vice presidential running mate, is still caught in his growing summer web of fantasies. That's a good way to put it.
Okay.
He avoids all questions about why for years he has lied about his rank in the National Guard, has lied about his avoidance of deployment in Iraq, and has lied about carrying a gun in war. The issue, again, folks, is his lying.
Yeah.
70% of Americans, presciently, poll ignorance of who Walz really is. But they are slowly learning that he let Minneapolis burn for 3 days in 2020, while his wife opened the windows to appreciate a whiff of arson, and while his daughter tipped off the violent Antifa and BLM rioters to be reassured her dad would not call out the guard on them. If in these scary times the president and vice president are AWOL, and the Democratic nominees to replace them are hiding from the media, then who really is in charge in extremis? Who, if anyone, will make existential decisions should a Russia, Iran, Hezbollah, or Turkey decide to start a wider war this week? President Joe Biden? If only these wars break out during his 1 hour awake each day and at work? Or Edith Wilson, Dr. Joe Biden? Recent congressional presidential kingmakers on their August vacations? The machinating Michelle and Barack Obama and their agents and appendages deeply embedded in the Biden administration? The teleprompted Kamala Harris, vice and yet not quite vice president, barnstorming on script from Washington? The coup plotters Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and George Clooney?
Yeah.
The now hubristic and overweening bicoastal billionaire left-wing donor class, fresh on the heels of deposing Biden from their ticket, they going to be the ones start calling the shots? Victor Davis Hanson finishes with this. Our only shred of reassurance is that our stunned enemies are probably as confused about who is in charge of America as we are. In fact, if you listen to interviews from people like Putin, and I mean, you really should not take what he says on face value, but this seems true, is that presidents come and go. The system stays the same.
Right. But it's very unnerving to me, knowing what we have in there right now. You might as well just have a mannequin, because it's now more official to anyone and everyone that he was placed there for a machine, and the machine's done with him. So now you, me, and everyone else here is just being played by that machine. There is no real leadership. There is no, hey, who did this? Can't find that out. Just like that Chat GPT thing. They can hide behind anonymous like that. And that is, to me, should be as illegal as the day is long, because you can break the law, but hide behind that. That's no different than me breaking in your house and then going hiding from the police. It's still illegal. It should be illegal.
Yeah. By the way, that also reminds me of with Israel, where I'm hung up. For number one, I'm like, why is Israel taking so long? But number two, I find the folks that are more stumping for, it's one thing to say stop the wars completely. I think it's a fair position. We'll see what happens. But folks that seem to be stumping more for, say, the Palestinians and even some tones of voice, Hamas, I mean, you cannot allow people to go and kill a bunch of folks and then go hide behind their civilian population.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's why
that is the wrong thing, the wrong behavior to reward.
That's why I haven't had a problem with Israel.
When you reward it, you are going to get more of it.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to say, look out for the weak. I think that's a good Christian principle, actually. But when the weak use that principle against you, in order to try to topple and become the strong themselves, I think that's defeating the whole point and purpose of that.
Well, they're taking advantage of being the whole week when they're just playing that role.
Yep. So honestly, I look at Ukraine, Russia, I look at what's going on in the Middle East, and I don't know what to believe because a lot of this stuff is purposeful disinformation.
Let me ask you this. Do you think both of those situations are something that Trump could get us out of?
I mean, he can only do so much.
But do you
I
have
don't
more
know.
faith in Trump or Kamala getting us
Yeah,
out?
I have more faith in Trump wants to get a solution done. But some problems are so big. Who knows? I mean, I don't even think Trump probably has the confidence, but if wider war breaks out in the Middle East, that's a heck of a problem on your plate.
Yeah, so who would you want, a politician or a negotiator in there? Who would you want? Because the politicians that I see are the weakest people I've ever met in my life. They couldn't negotiate their way out of a paper bag. But you get a real businessman in there who's looked people in the eyes and has done business and people believe in him, whole different ballgame.
This part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you, well, whether you're looking to buy a home, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, they can walk you through that process. All starts with pre-approval. Do not skip that step.
You'll just be going back to it.
Do not. You have to start with pre-approval. It helps you. It helps the sellers. It helps everybody if you understand how much you can afford, what you can be financed on. And, of course, they can walk you through every step of the way of that home buying process all the way to closing day. And there aren't going to be any surprises on closing day.
Don't want that.
And closing day will arrive much sooner than if you work with other companies.
So true.
The turnaround time for Alabama Home Mortgage on home purchases, on refinance deals, including even VA home loan deals, they're the best in the game. They're at Alabama Home Mortgage. So check them out today. You can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's myalabamahomemortgage.com, or call them at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Let Kim and Madeline prove to you today that there is a difference in mortgage companies. MLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. See, I tried to change it up there.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Who's there? It's Bill, the electrician, here to make your home burglar-proof. Oh, thank goodness. I thought maybe you were an intruder. No, ma'am. I'm a burglar's worst nightmare.
If your house doesn't have sufficient outdoor lighting, it's a prime target for intruders. That's why you should call Crosby Electric today.
How's it going, Bill? Just fine, ma'am. See, when your intruder trips this wire, it grabs him by the foot and hangs him upside down. Really?
The experts at Crosby Electric will install lighting that not only discourages intruders, but also makes it safer for you and your guests to navigate around steps, pools, and other tripping hazards.
Bill, is that contraption safe? Oh, sure. It's disarmed now, but... Bill! Like I said, I'm a burglar's worst nightmare. I see. You mind cutting me down, ma'am?
Avoid your worst nightmare. Call the outdoor lighting experts at Crosby Electric or visit crosbyelectric.com.
The summer is winding down, but the sales at Larry Puckett Chevrolet are not. If you have a child headed off to college and they need a good, reliable vehicle that will not have you worrying if they can make it to school, shop Larry Puckett. They have a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles that won't wear out your checkbook. New and pre-owned, Larry Puckett's inventory is as big as anyone's in the area. College football season is upon us, and if you don't trust your car to get you to the games, shop Larry Puckett. If you have an extra vehicle that you want to sell, take it to Larry Puckett and allow them to give you a cash offer. New vehicles are arriving daily. Call 285-9300. See if the one you're looking for is on the way. You'll love everything about Larry Puckett Chevrolet: the prices, the selection, the service, the financing, and you'll love your buying experience. For as long as I can remember, Larry Puckett's customers have been doing the talking. Larry Puckett Chevrolet on Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville. Before you stop by, you can shop them online at larrypuckett.com.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back, folks. Not a lot of time here. We'll be calling Secretary of State Wes Allen here to open up the 2 o'clock hour. Let's go to David. Hey, David, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
You know, you're talking about who's in charge. Did you ever see the movie Dave with Kevin Kline and Sigourney Weaver?
Yep. That's before your time, Joey.
You remember the president has a medical emergency in the midst of whoopee with a younger woman?
Yes, I do.
And he's incapacitated. and so the chief of staff, of course, says that basically behind the scenes, he's in charge of the government now.
Right.
And, you know, they find Kevin Kline, who is a lookalike comedian there in D.C., who they set up as the president. You know, that's almost how I feel what's going on right now.
No doubt.
Body doubles, baby.
No doubt, especially a week or so ago when we saw that Biden grew to over 6 foot. Just like anybody else notice that? He's taller than Jill all of a sudden. What? Anyone else notice that?
And you're like, that's crazy talk. Well, there are no credible reports that Donald Trump has been shot. Like, give me a break about credible, like crazy.
Exactly.
Give me a break.
Exactly. You know, it's surreal what's going on right now. I mean, you really feel like you're, you know, living in an Orwellian novel or something.
Bizarro
so,
world.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. So, anyway, have a good one, guys.
You too, David. Thank you, bro.
We got to hit the top of our break again. Secretary of State Wes Allen will be joining us after the top of the hour break to discuss, well, how he is removing non-citizens off Alabama's voter rolls. He's come up with a mechanism now. So y'all stay tuned.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Tropical storm Ernesto strengthening as it batters the Northeast Caribbean and takes aim at Puerto Rico. The storm, currently east-southeast of St. Croix, it is expected to become a hurricane, not to reach the U.S. It could, though, cause dangerous beach conditions on the East Coast. In consumer news, Ford and Mazda warning the owners of more than 400,000 older vehicles not to drive them because they have the dangerous airbag inflators from Takata that have not been replaced. The warning covers more than 374,000 Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury vehicles from the 2004 through 2014 model years, and nearly 83,000 Mazdas from the 2003 through 2015 model years. Stocks significantly higher, the Dow up 343 points. This is SRN News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, the best quality building materials in the river region for decades. From common builds to special orders and local delivery. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather. Hi, everybody. It is still a hot and dry forecast for now. The rain prospects do improve a little bit later in the week. Today, lots of sun, another hot day, high around 98, triple-digit heat indices. Sure, tonight slowed down to about 75. Radar quiet again today, but some widely scattered random storms perhaps start to pop up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and over the weekend, and mainly in the afternoon and evening hours, but they will be few and far between. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
John Bobo with Capital Tractor. Have you heard the news? Capital Tractor will soon be moving to a brand new location in Montgomery. With lots of Kubota inventory, we're going to sell it instead of move it. Our big moving sale is a great time to get a great deal on a Kubota at Capital Tractor in Montgomery.
1819 News.
Another Title IX town hall was held this past Monday night at Lake Guntersville. State Representative Susan DuBose talked about the bill that she offered this year and will offer again that offers a biological definition of a man and a woman here in the state as well as in schools.
We need to arm Attorney General Marshall with every tool in the toolbox to fight the federal government, and we need to pass laws that allow state agencies and schools to implement policies that protect the safety and welfare of women. We cannot do this unless we properly define male and female and put it into Alabama code. So I will continue to work towards that with my What is a Woman bill, which will come back in the 2025 session.
The event was hosted by Moms for Liberty and Local Alabama.
I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
2 men have escaped from the Escambia County Detention Center. Cameron Garner and Joseph Loper got out on Monday night. Both were wearing white clothing and had no shoes. Garner was in jail on burglary charges and Loper on failure to appear in court. The Mobile Area Water and Sewer System, MAWSS, has approved the plan by Mobile city leaders to annex Big Creek Lake and its surrounding acreage. The resolution was approved on Monday night, but not without some signatures from residents who are opposed to the idea. The annexation will involve over 9,000 acres in the area, causing residents to wonder how this will affect their homes and property near the lake. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
I'm Eddie Bader.
And I'm Hannah Grantham.
And together we're your listing specialists from Forest Meadows Homes and Land.
That's right. If you're looking to sell your home and get top dollar, look no further. Our secret weapons, top-notch marketing, professional photos, and dedication that's hard to find. And when we say dedication, we mean it.
We know the Tri-County market like the back of our hands. We've got the expertise and local knowledge to get your home noticed.
Why settle for less when you can have the best? Call us, the listing specialist, at 334-368-6358, and let us turn that for sale sign into sold.
Hi, I'm Doug Singleton, Chairman of the Montgomery County Commission and a proud member of the Kiwanis Club of Montgomery. The Kiwanis Club of Montgomery raises hundreds of thousands of dollars through the fair to support charities that benefit children in the river region. We invite you to join us on Thursday, October the 3rd for a special event, Taste of the Fair. For just $30, you can enjoy delicious samples from our food vendors and experience the fantastic fair food that we'll be serving this year. This year, all proceeds from Taste of the Fair will go towards providing a new turf for the Miracle League of Montgomery Field. The Miracle League offers children with disabilities a chance to experience the joy of playing baseball regardless of their abilities. Join us on October the 3rd from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. and get a sneak peek at the amazing fair food before the fair officially opens. Tickets are $30 and can be purchased at alnationalfair.org or at the fair office at Garrett Coliseum. Plus, with your ticket, you'll receive a $20 value ticket to return any day to the fair from October the 4th to October the 14th. Only a limited number of tickets will be sold, so get yours soon.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers.
It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. And as promised, we have on the line here the Secretary of State for the great state of Alabama, Wes Allen. Wes, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing all right, Joey. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate the job you're doing, because I think the last time we talked, one of the parts of our discussion was all these non-citizens on voter rolls around the nation, and there wasn't a very clear mechanism on how to go about this, but it seems you've come up with a way to clean Alabama's voter rolls of non-citizens voting.
Yeah, Joey, we're trying. We started this from scratch, and I'm the first Secretary of State to undertake this effort in Alabama, the first Secretary of State in Alabama to undertake this effort. And, since the first day I stepped in this office, put my right hand or left hand on the Bible, raised my right hand. As soon as I put that down and went to work, we've made strategic efforts to make sure we've got the cleanest and most accurate voter file in the country. And we have got a great team in place over here. We've locked arms. We all think alike, and we have been pushing very, very hard, all in the same direction, making sure that Alabama elections are safe, secure, transparent, accountable. And part of that is making sure our voter file is clean and free of anyone that's on the voter file illegally. And we've identified 3,200 or so individuals that are registered to vote in Alabama who had also been issued a non-citizen identification number, basically an alien identification number by the Department of Homeland Security. And then we took the steps today to instruct the boards of registrars from all 67 counties to immediately inactivate and initiate steps necessary to remove these individuals who are not United States citizens.
And it sounds like this is just the beginning. In particular, you looked at this Homeland Security information that you got a hold of. Is there any other way, maybe you don't want to tip your hand, but is there any other way this process continues?
Sure. It's been a year and a half, or over a year and a half now I've been in office. It's just been, being faced with red tape and bureaucracy from the federal government side, trying to ascertain this information, to let us check, let us run the data, make sure that no one is illegally on our voter files. And so we had to just think outside the box, and we are continuing every day to refine this process that we've started. And, we're excited about what we've been able to do in the past, and with this effort as well. We want to make sure the people of Alabama have confidence in our elections, because I know that they're like me. I'm like y'all. We watch the national news. We see what's going on in other states, especially what's happening at the southern border, the invasion that's taking place. But we're pleased by what we've been able to accomplish so far, and we're going to keep working, keep moving forward.
And of course, I don't think you or me or anybody wants actual citizens denied the possibility of voting, registering to vote. So there is a way, say somebody was caught up in this Homeland Security database, they have a process where they can go, no, I'm naturalized now.
Absolutely. No doubt about that. Once the registrars send a letter out to these individuals, they will have the opportunity to produce an Alabama driver's license or an Alabama non-driver ID or a Social Security number. That's one of the things that we've implemented since I've been in office that's never been done here, Joey, is that we are requiring an Alabama driver's license, valid driver's license, or an Alabama valid non-driver ID or their Social Security number. And then every night after they register to vote, it pings off of other databases that we have access to make sure that they are verified and they are a legal citizen.
There you go. And, for the folks who say, well, this fraud isn't going on in Alabama, number one, you can't be just thinking about, like, the national races that do have huge margins. We still don't want fraud there, but the margin's so big, I don't think the winners are often in question. But we literally had somebody just arrested and indicted, right, on voter fraud, absentee ballot fraud, right?
We did. In Clay County, we had a county commission candidate, Democratic county commission candidate, that was falsifying absentee ballot applications to benefit himself, and there were 7 counts. And we worked hard. As soon as we received that complaint, that information, we packaged that up, got it across the street to Steve Marshall's office at the Attorney General's office, and he and his staff and the law enforcement in Clay County worked very, very hard to bring that indictment. And we're proud of that. And I think it's a signal to anyone, Joby, that's thinking about contemplating committing voter fraud in our state that we will find you. And we're going to prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law.
Yes, sir. And if folks are maybe waiting too long, they're just popping their heads up and going, oh, this politics thing's going on this year. They still have time to register to vote, right?
Absolutely. October 21st is the deadline. You can go to alabamavotes.gov. Alabamavotes.gov is our official website, the trusted website. Don't go to all those other websites that you may see from the League of Women Voters. Those are capturing your information and using it to pass along to other partisan liberal groups. Go to alabamavotes.gov on your mobile phone or at your desktop, or you can go into your local board of registrar's office and vote or register by paper. So I would suggest that as well.
Now, and before I let you go, have other secretaries of state, other offices around the country hit you up, got in contact with you about what you're doing in terms of non-citizens? Like, because I just think it's a sound idea.
Well, as far as this issue today that we've announced, we have worked extremely hard and kept it real close to the vest. Sure. Because we've been working so extremely hard. But the overall, as far as conversations with other Republican secretaries of state around the country, yes, we are all trying to figure out how to get around, I guess, or come up with other solutions, because the federal government is just, they're not any help.
What a shame, but that's what I've come to learn about our federal government. Well, I appreciate your time as always, sir, and
yes, sir.
I'd love to have you back in studio when the time is right here soon.
Let's do it. I appreciate it, Joey.
Thank you, Wes. Again, that's Secretary of State of the great state of Alabama, Wes Allen. Always appreciate his time and him making this move quickly. Like, this is a huge issue.
Right.
The idea that non-citizens are allowed to vote, or maybe this is the thing, I'm not thinking of it like, oh, I came here illegally, I register, and I go vote. That might happen very well. What I'm worried about is some of these sting operations or guerrilla reporting we've seen, where folks go to apartment complexes, say in Georgia, and they pretend like they're getting people to register to vote, and they're like, oh, I'm already registered, are you a citizen? No. And folks just being honest, admitting it, going about their day, not really thinking they've done something deeply wrong. I'm thinking that person who's just admitting that probably isn't going to the polls.
Well, also, they probably didn't realize they're just taking everything the government is handing to them.
Right. But that still can create a massive problem, especially if you start getting into absentee fraud.
Yes.
That you have all these people who are registered who kind of just did it because you showed up at their
There's
door.
no control over it at that
Right.
point.
It's an absolute mess. So I appreciate Wes Allen
Right
actually
there with the
stepping
ballot
out there.
boxes. I just would having them on the side of the road.
And if there is fraud in the state around the polls that matters, again, you don't want, like, say there's 2-3% fraudulent ballots. That's a lot of ballots.
That's a lot of ballots.
And you don't want that. But what, Trump's going to win by 30, 40 points? So it's not a question of, like, who's going to get the electoral votes for the state of Alabama. The question, though, starts to become that 1%, that even 0.5% on a competitive down ballot
That's
race.
what I worry about. I don't worry about the presidential race with that. I do worry about more about the down ballot. That
Exactly.
affects me. People in this state are going to cheat. That affects me.
Right. So, like I said, I appreciate Wes getting on top of this and
You bet.
announcing this today. Let's go to line one.
All
You're
right.
on there. Who's this?
Hey, Papa B.
Hey, guys. Great job, Wes Allen. I appreciate it. And, it's just an issue that's long overdue to be addressed. Look, if you want to know why some folks continue to be elected and you just shake your head like, what in the world are the people in that state or county or city thinking? You can probably go to and point to illegal aliens voting, especially over the last several cycles. I've heard a report just recently that there are 81,000 illegal aliens in Minnesota. And, that's a state where they're trying to issue driver's licenses for all.
Yep.
Okay. So, yeah, maybe they've got an ID, but they're not citizens. They're not supposed to vote. And so, and then recently, didn't we see, Georgia, or was it Virginia? I can't remember which.
Virginia just
found
tightened things
a
up.
bunch of illegal aliens on the rolls, to vote. It's things like that. I mean, it might deliver. I mean, Kemp, I don't know what got Kemp, but he is walking a straight and narrow all of a sudden.
To quote Judge
over
Napolitano,
Georgia.
what, they got a video of him having sex with a duck?
I don't know.
That's
but
better than a goat.
I guess. I don't know. Either one is bad. But anyway.
I thought a nickname was
Trump,
Sick Mallard. I didn't know it was literal.
Yeah.
But somebody in the Trump campaign got a hold of Brian Kemp over in Georgia, and he's all of a sudden, straightened his act up. It means that Georgia probably is going to be going for Trump. Virginia, we might get Virginia back in this election cycle, which would be a welcome relief. But a lot of these states are going to have take a serious look at who's been voting in their races here, and find out if there are, and probably are. But I mean, they're being facilitated by the federal government to do so. What I heard was that when they come across this latest big surge that has happened over the last 4 years now, 3.5 years, they've destroyed their identities before they came over. There's only one reason that I can think of, so that they could get, new identities of some kind. And apparently they're having old Social Security numbers from dead folks, or they're using the same Social Security number many times. Many people are using the same ones many times. There's all kinds of shenanigans going on, Joey.
Of course.
And Homeland Security, I think, is facilitating it. Certainly the State Department probably is. But state by state is how, we do something about it, just like West is doing. So kudos to him, and I hope the rest of the, Secretary of State, and if not them, the legislatures of states, which generally are controlled by Republicans in many states, more states than not, will do something about it. But if we can do, if this can be done, in more and more states this cycle, the likelihood that Trump will go back in is increasing, on a daily basis. So anyway, food for thought, I guess.
Appreciate it, Bobby.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Simple days.
Hey, Simple days.
Well, did you happen to see or hear that the lead investigator for investigation into the 13 dead American soldiers in the botched Afghanistan deploy has resigned abruptly? Check out the story. And he says the reason for his resignation is he's not being provided with the documents that he's asked for to conduct a proper investigation.
There you go. They picked the wrong guy.
See, and this is what our government is about now.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to know the truth. And whatever they can throw and, it sticks against the wall against Trump, no investigation needed. But when you've got hard facts, when you saw the American soldiers being killed and you know what happened and now they're trying to cover it up, I mean, what length will they go to disrupt the elections and overthrow?
But let's be clear, he's criticizing the Republican House Foreign Affairs Committee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the old establishment covering their tracks or covering something else.
And it's like Trump had to fight against his own party, and they were stabbing him in the back. And so, I mean, they're all co-conspirators in this criminal enterprise that we now call the government.
Well, and it says, efforts to pursue investigative leads were repeatedly stymied by our chief investigator and by senior staff, and unfortunately sometimes by indecision from you, Mr. Chairman. Dunleavy is referring to Foreign Affairs Committee Chair Michael McCall. Yeah, and it's like the chairs of intelligence, the chairs of foreign affairs, chairs of armed services, like we talked about yesterday. It's like it's like they're serving masters we're not in the general public allowed to see.
Yeah.
Well, the deplorables, we can't handle the truth.
Right.
We can't handle it. Question is, do you think with this debate coming up, do you think they're going to need to feed our vice president the questions like they did Hillary?
Guarantee it.
Mm-hmm.
Guarantee it.
And the other question is, if you didn't know anything about the previous election, and you had two of them to pick from to go up against Trump, Hillary or the vice president, which one do you think would be the tougher adversary?
VP. Come on.
Well, we know he defeated Hillary with her getting the questions fed to her.
Yep.
So I think he stands a pretty good shot at the vice president. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Appreciate it. Well, in that recent press conference he did, Hillary was smart. Sometimes her own worst enemy, but she was smart.
Kind of ironic coming from him.
Yeah.
But you got people that are going to vote strictly on identity. I hate Trump.
Course, man.
Yeah.
Like this game is not fully rational.
No, it's
by
not.
any means. That's the lie. That's the big lie out there.
Yeah. Yep.
A lot of this has much more to do with using objective facts and figures to create subjective framing and influence operations that then get people to do what they want.
Well, that's what you do when the truth won't go your way.
True. And also, at the end of the day, politics is kind of about what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know what's true in the future necessarily. And that's what they're trying to hang their hat on with Harris. But it's like, you've literally been here.
Right. We have experience.
We have videotape of when you're in the Senate, when you were vice president.
Yes. Yes.
You're just going to run away from all of that?
Wasn't me. Wasn't me.
272-9228 again, if you want to get in on the conversation. And, you know, I got to give it, I'm still mad at him. Like Brett Baer?
Yeah.
Of Fox News?
Bear Aspirin.
Yeah, I still want him to say my name.
Say my name.
Like you use audio from the boat captain. Mm-hmm. There's my face. Say my name. I have a name.
Could have been worse.
But he actually did something, Brett Baer did, that I was a little surprised by. He actually pushed back on a Democrat. Well, and this one is a particularly just miserable liar, Dan Goldman. It's because he's a very, very smart attorney. He was actually, during the impeachment, like the Democrats' lead counsel, I believe, and then he ran for Congress. So I'm not questioning this guy's high IQ. I think he's wicked smart. I worry about people like that.
A little bit slimy, Joe?
Yeah, so this is over. Again, this is not about like what's literally true. This is about framing.
Okay.
So the frame being pushed by the Democrats right now is Trump's scared to debate Mabala.
Okay.
You know what I mean, though? Say it to my face, Donald. Ah!
Quit running from me.
All right. Well, maybe you should stop crapping the bed like Amber Heard, you crazy.
Yeah.
But here's Dan Goldman and Brett Baer going at it over this. No, you don't want to debate. No, you don't want to debate. No, you debate.
If I'm Donald Trump, I understand why he doesn't want to debate. Kamala Harris is
he's accepted
former
3
prosecutor.
He said yes to September 4th, September 10th, September 17th. He said yes to a lot of them. So it's not that he's obviously afraid to debate.
No. So no. He had agreed to September 10th. Well, on ABC.
With Biden, who got pushed out.
What's the difference? Why should he not debate whoever the candidate is on September 10th as he agreed to? What is the difference between candidate Biden and candidate Harris?
He said he would do it. I'm just saying he's also agreed to other debates. You said he hasn't agreed to others. He has. It's the Kamala Harris campaign that hasn't agreed on the other.
Yeah. But again, it doesn't matter. You just say it enough. He's afraid.
You just keep saying it.
He's afraid. I don't see that.
Okay.
Or he doesn't know how to attack somebody who's so much younger and who is a different sex than him. Like, what?
That guy looks like a meme character, I know.
Like, I'm just tired of it being so fake. Why not sit down and talk to somebody like Trump just talked to Musk? Doesn't have to be Elon. Could be somebody else.
Why would I do that? It's
that you more trust. Maybe somebody endorsed you. Sit down for an hour and 40 minutes and talk like a normal human being. You fake ass puppet.
Why would I do that? The last candidate I ran didn't even go out. He ran in the basement the whole time, and you know what? He ended up winning.
We'll just waltz out funnel cake, Dad.
There you go.
Be like, mind your own damn business.
It worked for basement for our basement president now, and it's still working for him. Where's he at? He's back in his basement.
The basement strategy, baby.
It worked.
Yeah.
That's what's so disgusting. People hated Donald Trump so bad. No idea what this guy's policies were. They look at his history and say he's been wrong about everything he's ever done since he's been in Congress. Hey, we should make him the president. Every decision he's ever made, wrong. We should make. Hey, he's got a great kid though. No, he don't. He's a crackhead.
Wrong.
We should make him the president.
Wrong. Just wrong. Now, before we hit a break here, I want to go to Peter St. Onge.
How is Peter?
Peter is doing all right. Well, I don't know why we became British all of a sudden. But before we go to Peter St. Onge and his take on how the West censors and arrests populists, but there's one country that a populist has been very successful.
Oh.
Named Modi of
Recently?
India. So he's going to give the tale there, India's populist miracle. First, this part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team are ready to help you with buying or selling here in the River Region real estate market. And it's not just if you're looking to buy or sell property here in the Montgomery and surrounding areas. Maybe you're looking to convert that property into a rental investment. Could be you have to move. You don't want to sell right now. Why not transform it into a rental? Have the Goodson Group manage it for you. Or it could be you're looking to invest in rentals. They can help you out in that regard. And then the crown jewel there is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed real estate programs in the state because of all the success. It's a very interactive course. Bo is teaching you from 40 plus years of experience. The man has been through it all, and he can teach you direct. And you can hit the ground running and find immediate success, whether as a fully licensed realtor or as a more knowledgeable private player here in the River Region real estate market or beyond. You know, people take the course, they move, and they're still doing great in real estate, all because of that Bo Goodson Real Estate School. So check them out today. You can always go to thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group, great sponsor here of the program. So let's go to Peter St. Ange and see what he has to say about India's populist narrative. Why is populist such a dirty word?
I wish I knew.
Know. Oh, come on. Got it all queued up. Thought that was a nice lead in. I guess no, we can't have nice things.
Mm-hmm.
We're not allowed to have nice things.
Nope.
Here we go. Think it's back.
Elite populism rises worldwide from the U.S. and Europe to Latin America. These socialists are fighting tooth and nail, using everything from cynical election coalitions in France to outright censorship and jailing dissenters in Britain. But there is one big country where populism has now taken over, India. Since taking office in 2014, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has managed to gain widespread support for populism. He regularly polls around 80% support, gaining support from both working class and middle class Indians. And he's won an unprecedented 3 terms in India's rambunctious democracy, which comes to 15 years. A recent Ipsos poll found 77% of Indians think the country is on the right track. That compares to 35% in America, 30% in Canada, 21% of British people, and just 18% in France. Modi's success is down to 3 factors. First, an emphasis on nationalism as a unifier as opposed to the left's tribalism. The left naturally frames his nationalism as self-divisive, as they do here in America, because they are addicted to promoting civil war. Second, Modi has delivered relatively competent government and strong economic growth to the long-suffering voters of India. So outside COVID, India has had 7 to 8% GDP growth under Modi. The country is building coal and nuclear plants while America and Europe screw around with green handouts. And India's cities are much safer than, say, blue cities in America and Europe. The third is a widespread feeling in India that the system was broken under decades of the previous ruling party called Congress. So many Indians were open to a strong personality to push through radical change. This is actually true in the U.S. and Europe as well. The people are ready for change, but left-wing media diffuses that anger away from reform and into that very tribalism. Divide and rule by the media-aligned elite. As for Modi, he just won a third 5-year term, albeit with coalition partners, and he's now promising to make India a developed country in 25 years by bringing back manufacturing and improving digital infrastructure. This may actually be possible. India is already the world's largest exporter of IT and business services at $193 billion last year.
Yeah, we know.
And it's scooping up manufacturers who are fleeing China over rising costs and political risks ranging from Beijing's police state to Beijing's trade friction with the West. As the Economic Times put it, for manufacturers, Modi replaced the red tape with the red carpet, inviting the kind of foreign investment that developed places like Korea, Taiwan, and China itself. Still, there are a lot of challenges. India remains desperately poor thanks to decades of socialism imported from post-war Britain. A recent survey found just half of Indians can afford 3 meals a day. And Modi remains in trench warfare with India's deep corruption. A recent medical test scandal brought that back into the headlines. Moreover, even if Modi's bringing manufacturing back, a worldwide recession in America and Europe will slow or stop India's growth in the near term. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. Modi's populist success in India is an example for those of us who want more power for the people as opposed to corporate and political elites. Emphasizing nationalism over race or class, delivering the goods in governance, and tapping into widespread dissatisfaction with corrupt elites apparently gets the job done. King, we'll be watching. See you next time.
Again, Peter St. Ange there, folks. Now, before I hit this break, here locally, there's word that the mayor, I think with some people in the county commission agreeing, They want to do away with the city council or the city county personnel board. The city county personnel board that's been around for a while, I think oversees something like 2,400 employees.
Why? Are we saving money? Doing it more efficiently? Are they not doing a good job?
And I'm actually looking at the text. It's a photo of the actual ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
Relating to Montgomery County and the city of Montgomery to authorize the establishment of a separate personnel merit system and a separate human resources department for the county and the city to provide for separate personnel appeals boards for each separate personnel merit system. To provide for the transfer of existing employees to the appropriate system, to provide for the adoption of rules and procedures for each system, to provide for the transfer of property and records, and to provide for the repeal of a bunch of sections I'm not going to sit here and read. So we're going to break up the current board that's been there a long time, overseeing 2,400 employees for the city and the county.
They're doing a bad job.
And we're going to give the county its own merit system and board, and the city its own merit system and board. Sounds like a power play to me, honestly.
Sure
Blow up
does.
the
Sounds
old
like-
system, and the people on top of whether it's county or the city get to start to make the new rules.
Power grab.
I'm sure also they have arguments that it'd be more efficient
Of
or
course you do.
whatever. But
in the reality, a power grab. You want a job, you got to bow down and kiss the ring of the man. Guess who the man is?
well, we'll see if the city council actually wants to pass this.
Dude, come on.
You don't have a lot of faith in them?
Got zero faith in that. I got more faith in a wet paper bag holding a watermelon.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
Right.
It's an image, though. Trying to
Fact.
get inside the house.
Prove me wrong.
It's raining.
Yep.
That watermelon's starting to sink down.
Going right through the bag.
And then you put your hand up under it, and you're like, you
It's
get
going right
reminded
through.
of other things. It's like, I don't want this watermelon to fall, but it certainly
Oh,
is
it's going.
supple. Like, it's round, baby.
It's going to the ground, going to burst all over.
Yeah. And I was going to put a bunch of tequila in it.
Oh, too bad.
Yeah. So I guess the city council meets, tonight, also on the 20th?
They get tonight to say they're thinking about it, and then they get on the 20th to say, yeah, we thought about it. We're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just got no faith in them, man. That's the reason people are leaving this city fast as they can go.
Now they can go work for the county. Have their own personnel board. Okay, well, we'll see. It just seems like the new people in charge across the board in different institutions here locally in local government want to create their own system. They're tired of the old one. That's the takeaway for me.
I don't have a problem with creating a new system, but when we already have what I consider to be big power grabs going on, nah.
And I just wonder
Don't
how
want
much
your new
this
system.
has been communicated to actual members of the council.
That, and also, let's look at the new system that they've changed a lot of things. Have there been improvements? I got to go with like sanitation? No. In fact, if you remember, the city looked like crap. People were complaining because stuff was not getting picked up. So what did the city do? They started charging you to pick it up.
Well,
Quit your complaining.
Yeah, and we're talking about this, but I'm not going to sit and pretend like I have power of the city council or the mayor's
Neither one of
office
us
or like influence operations or anything. But it is fun to do a bet. Do you think we'll get more or less lawsuits if this change goes through?
I'm going to go with more, Joey. And you know how much the city and the mayor cares about that? Even less, Joey. Even less.
Just sour grapes, right?
Call it what you want, but facts are facts, my friend.
Mm-hmm. No, but we're attacking somebody's guy. That's
I'm sure
my
we are.
guy.
It's your guy.
Like
Not my guy.
Have you ever had affection for a mayor? I don't mean like, oh, he seems like a good guy, or you don't have ill will towards mayors, but you're like, that's my guy.
I did for a few minutes emotionally when my dad passed away and the mayor showed up at the funeral. I had a few minutes, so that was my guy.
But how long ago was that?
10 years, a long time.
Long time.
Bobby Bright.
It's hard to bring that up.
Not, but I fell for it. That's my guy. It took all of 3 hours later. I was like, I ain't my guy.
Yeah. Like, I want you to do a good job of running sound administration, so to speak, but I do not understand. But we getting back to it. It's the whole identity thing.
Yeah.
It's like, that's my guy.
My guy.
Okay. Let's see how it goes.
Like with Wes Allen, I feel like that's my guy. He's doing some things I like seeing get done. It's my guy.
Right, and I'm under the opinion that old Montgomery's dead. And people should just give in to that. Stop being like, the guy in Monty Python, I'm not dead yet. I mean, well, come on. You're about to get clubbed in the head and thrown on the dead people cart.
Old Montgomery might be dead, but New Montgomery ain't all that inviting, to be quite honest. And not just me. You can look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie.
See where it goes. I mean, there's been some investment and stuff.
Oh, you got Meta coming. You got the big people that love to spy on you. They're coming.
And Amazon's got a sorting facility or something.
Come on,
Hyundai's expanding, right?
Dude, Hyundai's been expanding since the day they started working there. Don't even get me going on that whole scam. According to Hyundai, there should be 50,000 people working there as many times they've expanded and we're hiring.
Yeah. Hyundai at certain points get so desperate, they're like, this is a Trump country. You're like, right. Yeah. Like, we know you're pandering to the left. We appreciate you being here and giving all the great, well-paying jobs that you do.
But, that's just, you can BS through that kind of thing. And companies do and administrations do.
I want things to work. It's just sometimes I find myself looking at local politics and all the back and forth, and I'm
when did politicians,
not impressed.
When did they start gaining our respect? When did we start having faith in them? It's kind of like pharmaceutical. You remember pharmacies, you'd have the traveling salesman selling the tonic.
Right.
And at some point, we started accepting
people got wise to that's just making you have diarrhea.
Yeah, but at some point, we started accepting them as fact. And when did we do that with politicians? And when did we accept the fact that we're going to let them lie to us? That really bothers me the most. That we accept the fact.
You just got to find the liar you like.
Or
what you got to find are honest liars.
Or maybe we could go through the painful adjustment of no longer letting those liars rule the country.
Now you're singing my tune.
I mean,
it's a revolution. It is. No rulers, please. I've convinced Eddie.
I'm tired of it. I want clawbacks. If we elect Joey and Joey says, hey, Eddie, we're going to change the world to yellow, and halfway through, Joey can't even begin to change it to yellow, well, it's time to get Joey out of there. Joey made a promise he couldn't keep. Probably had no intention of making it anyway.
You're telling me this guy ain't your guy?
Shut up, silly woman.
He's not your guy?
Right this second, he's my guy. Sure.
But you don't have, let's say, ridiculous hopes about.
No, I know he's going to screw some stuff up.
Yeah.
I have confidence he will screw it up less than the other person. And it won't hurt me as bad.
Well, we got to hit a break here.
All right.
So, vote, don't vote. If you really want to talk about it and you're on the city council, you can always join the show. You can call us at 272-9228, or you can sit right here in the studio and talk to us.
I like that guy who does that.
Like, if you really want to talk about an issue, it's your job. Come on, talk about it. We got an open floor.
Yeah, we do.
Anybody else seeing problems, worried about it, want to blow the whistle, you're always welcome. You want to defend the city, defend the mayor, you're also welcome. We somewhat strive to be an open forum here, though we are a bunch of right-wing white supremacist fascists.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage.
And I'm Madeline Cannon. And we have some exciting news to share with you. We've been serving the state of Alabama for many, many years. And now we are able and ready to offer the same great mortgage financing in Georgia and Florida as well.
Our company may be Alabama Home Mortgage, but now we can finance your Georgia home mortgage and your Florida home mortgage too. We couldn't be more excited to extend our customer base to our neighboring states. For years, we have had customers call us in hopes we could assist them with purchasing their vacation cabin in North Georgia or their dream home in Florida. And now we can. For those of you who have family and friends that live in Florida and Georgia, be sure to tell them the good news.
Whether you are looking to purchase or refinance a home located in Alabama, Georgia, or Florida, you owe it to yourself to give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time.
It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, folks, thank you for making CTE Outdoor Power a preferred dealer and Hustler one of the most popular riding mowers. Recently, I met a couple from Evergreen who discovered us because friends recommended both CTE and Hustler. They heard our team of friendly, helpful professionals would guide them to the Hustler model that's the best fit for them, and that because we support all the products we sell, we take the hassle out of future needed parts and service. They liked Hustler because of the highest quality and warranty, and that we partner with Hustler to offer 0% interest financing. Now, if you haven't discovered Hustler and CTE yet, now is the perfect time, because this month when you mention this ad, we'll pay the sales tax when you purchase any new riding mower. Folks, can you get all that anywhere else? CTE Outdoor Power, I-85 at Perry Hill Road and CTEOutdoorPower.com.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC.
Well, hi, everybody. We need some rain, and the rain prospects will start to get a little bit better soon, but not great. Tonight we're dry with the overnight low temperature down to about 75. But for tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and over the weekend, we'll mention some random, widely scattered storms, few and far between each afternoon and evening. And of course, high temperatures still in the mid to upper 90s, triple-digit heat indices. Our August heat wave rolls on. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WATV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to hop in on the program. Did you see that America has reached a milestone, Eddie?
Is it a good one?
No, it's kind of sad.
Yeah, it's all we've been hitting here lately.
This is from the desk of Dr. Ron Paul, former congressman, presidential candidate Ron Paul. He writes, last week, the national debt reached $35 trillion. A mere 7 months after the debt reached $34 trillion.
Can't even make it a year.
To put this in perspective, the national debt first reached $1 trillion in October of 1981, almost 200 years after the Constitution's ratification. The fact that the government was adding $1 trillion in debt in little over half a year was not deemed worthy of comment by President Biden, Vice President Harris, and most other U.S. politicians. This is not surprising, since the national debt has not been a central issue in D.C. since the days of the Tea Party movement. The Tea Party's efforts to focus attention on the debt resulted in a bipartisan deal that made minuscule spending cuts. In fact, most of the cuts were not real cuts. They were just reductions to the projected rate of spending increase, meaning the spending still increased, but just not by as much as originally planned. Ron Paul continues, this was not the first time that apparent spending limits consisted of smoke and mirrors. For example, the budget surpluses of the 1990s were due to the government's practice of counting the Social Security Trust Fund as both a liability and an asset, not because of bipartisan budget deals. The Donald Trump-inspired rise of populist nationalist conservatism that does not emphasize the national debt means Republicans have less incentive to even talk about the debt, aside from making justifiable, though hypocritical, attacks on President Biden and congressional Democrats' excessive spending. Similarly, the rise of a Bernie Sanders-influenced New Left has led even centrist Democrats to stop giving lip service to the cause of deficit reduction. Many Democrats, including those who have embraced modern monetary theory, agree with former Vice President Dick Cheney that deficits don't matter. Modern monetary theory asserts that as long as the central bank can monetize federal debt and keep interest rates low, the government can endlessly increase the amount of debt. This is not really modern, as the Federal Reserve has long been acting as the great enabler of the federal debt. Those who pretend deficits don't matter ignore the fact that interest on the national debt will soon be the largest item in the federal budget, consuming as much as 40% of federal revenue. Damn. This is unsustainable, writes Dr. Ron Paul. The devaluation of the dollar resulting from the Federal Reserve's efforts to stimulate the economy and monetize federal debt, combined with increasing resistance to U.S. hyper-interventionist foreign policy, will lead to a rejection of the dollar's world reserve currency status. But, Ron Paul's probably wrong about that. He's never been right about other things that people then admit he was right about like a decade later.
Yeah, okay.
When that occurs, writes Ron Paul, there will be a major economic crisis unlike anything the country has seen since the Great Depression. This crisis could lead to increased support for authoritarianism in both the left and the right. The result will be even greater restrictions on economic and civil liberties, and even more belligerent foreign policy, scapegoating those who reject the dollar's reserve currency status for the country's economic problems. However, the economic crisis also can be followed by a society with minimal government and more liberty. The liberty movement is still growing. Those who understand the philosophy of liberty and sound economics must continue to spread the truth about the dangers of fiat money and the growth of government power and government debt. They must also communicate the benefits of the free market, personal liberty, sound money, and peace. Again, that's from the desk of Ron Paul. America reaches a sad milestone. Sad indeed, because it's kind of like some of us have kept banging that drum for years now. Nobody seems to care.
Well, that's just it. What are you or me going to do about it? But at the same time, Joey, say that debt comes due. Who's going to come and get the money from you or me? And that's how a lot of people look at it. It's somebody else's money. It's somebody else's problem.
Okay.
No, it's got our name on it.
Yeah.
Your name is on it.
I think, again, as Dr. Paul suggested, it's going to be used as an excuse to further steal from you and steal your liberties at the same time.
Yep.
Let's hit a quick break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Dillon Rings. And there at Dillon Rings, Josh and Leslie Ryder are ready to help you out. Go to their Facebook page now, and you can see all the great examples of items they have in stock, whether more antique style or modern style or just weird and wacky. You want to get all whimsical with it. Like a bedazzled paper clip.
Yeah,
like it's
right.
diamond encrusted. It's fantastic for somebody who does a lot of office work. You can have fun in that way. And if you can imagine it, if you can dream it up, Josh Ryder can make it a reality. The man is a true artist when it comes to his custom designed jewelry. But don't be shy about how good the current in-stock selection is. They really can help you out there at Dillon Rings. They can also do repairs. They can do spa treatments or cleaning so that jewelry will shimmer and shine like it once did. Brand new. Well, it can be that way again. They can also do appraisals, even pearl stringing. They do it all there.
That's crazy, the pearl stringing.
At Dillon Rings. So check them out today. You can always go to 119 Brown Springs Road, right here in Montgomery. That's just off of Atlanta Highway, kind of that Atlanta Highway Taylor Road area. 119 Brown Springs Road. Brand new renovated showroom. Get by and see them. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
Independent Glass has been your one-stop shop for all things glass since 1978. They offer a full range of architectural products, and they're armed with the knowledge and expertise to get even the most demanding job done, big or small. Attention to detail, 24-hour replacement services, and their uncompromising commitment to excellence is why Montgomery's first choice for all things glass is Independent Glass. Call them today at 263-2823 and learn more about what they can do for you at independentglassco.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Romex Angler's commenting on the stream, Eddie.
How's he doing?
He says Eddie is rocking the fancy pool liner today. Looks nice.
Actually, this is not a pool liner.
Is it more of a floral pattern?
Yeah,
like,
I think it's more Hawaiian thing.
Yeah.
With some drinks.
Are those marijuana leaves?
No, they're Hawaiian shirt. I think.
Please stop playing with your nipples. Let's go to Ray Bowles of Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
How'd you know I was doing that?
Both of you, stop right now.
Can't a man play with his nipples?
Now, we've got like 500 guys driving down the road, now they're doing that.
Yep, exactly.
If you're listening to this talk radio station driving down the road, that's how the car beside you knows you're listening. That's going to be your new call sign. Y'all just started something. All right, hey guys, real quick. I've got my desk is like overrun with papers, and I'm just crazy busy. I needed a good laugh, but if y'all need a floor, call us at 285-8117. We are done with the big project in Auburn. I've got a lot of material left over.
All right.
Because I always overbuy for that particular project. That means you can get a truckload sale without even being on a truckload sale, because I need this stuff gone. It is a really good product, good-looking colors, and we can get it in for you within a week.
Oh, that's good.
Just that simple, folks. Again, that number, 285-8117. And when you call 285-8117, be sure to tell them you heard Ray Bowles here on the radio with those Joey and Eddie characters.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, y'all.
Ray.
See you, Ray.
Yeah, get by there. Take advantage of that sale there.
It's a great idea, especially if you got rental property. You're not going to get your flooring any less expensive than what you can get right now.
We're pretty much out of time, but I see a call here.
Here's a call.
You're on there. Who's this?
Don't buy no lotto tickets today, Joey.
Yeah, he's probably one of those nipple flickers. And on that disturbing note, we got to get out of here because Happy Hour with Greg Budell. He's next. Stop.
Broadcasting
Stop it
from
right
the
now.
Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Stocks are moving upward and Wall Street relaxing a bit after the first of several highly anticipated